Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's TGIF, and you're at Night Talk with Jay Sands. That's me. We're on. It's time. Are you ready? Because I know the chat room's getting loaded. That I can tell you. So let's go. Night Talk starts right now.
Welcome to Sands Place with your host, Jay Sands. Monday through Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 a.m. in the UK. This is the place to be. Now, without further ado, enter the Sandman. Here he is, Mr. Jay Sands.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's time. We're here. It's Friday night. All right. Way to go. Good evening and welcome everybody to Night Talk. I'm Jay Sands. It's now 10:01 on the East Coast, 7:01 on the West Coast, 3 a.m. if you're in the UK. And if you are and you're listening, thank you very much. I want you to say hello to John Biven, I love to call him my engineer. Hello, John.
Your illustrious engineer.
Now, wait a minute now. Hold on a second there. You want to try that again?
Your illustrious engineer.
No, didn't quite make it. Try it one more time.
Your illustrious engineer.
I like that one better. I get to play with that little knob. Every time I play with that knob, I get a kick out of it. That's the effects knob, ladies and gentlemen. Well, welcome. This is Night Talk. I am Jay Sands. I just introduced you to John Biven. Just coming off a great afternoon on Sands and Abbott at 3 o'clock every Friday. Today we had Bruce Abbott on, and we jazzed it up all afternoon. He was with us for an hour and a half, and it was a great show. I want to thank Ernie Abbott for that, my partner on Sands and Abbott every Friday. Thank you so much for putting that together, Ernie. What a great show. We had a great time. It was really nice. We got to play 3 tracks from his new CD that nobody has. Nobody. In fact, the release party is Monday. So that goes to show you what we had today. So it was fantastic. Let's see. Already we've got 49 plays on that show. Excellent. Let's see. The chat room is up and running. And, of course, we've got Andy Bong, John Biven, and Ouija Radio, WEJA Radio. That's Ernie Abbott.
Hi, Ernie.
Hey, Ernie. No, I'm not Ernie.
No, Ouija.
Oh, Ouija what? What do you mean Ouija?
Radio. He said hi. I said hey.
Oh, I see. I get what you're doing. I got lost there for a second, John. That's okay. I can't stand it anymore. I can't. This is just too much fun. Ouija, Andy Bong, and John Biven in the chat room now. That'll start picking up in just a little while. Again, I have no agenda for tonight's show because... Oh, Corey! Whoa, just popped into the chat room. Corey Jones, ladies and gentlemen, is with us. Oh, haven't seen Corey since I wrapped up on the movie H35, which is coming out in, we have a preview in September, a premiere in September. And Corey was in the movie, and he came down to help us out and ended up in the movie. And great to see you, Corey. Thank you so much for stopping in. My God, great to see you. Thank you. Yeah, that's coming up. I can't wait. I think we're going to... John, we may have to talk about that. There's got to be a way for me to get that live on the air.
The movie?
Yeah, the preview. To go to the preview. And, well, maybe not because it's a movie. So, yeah, that would be like... that would be kind of stupid, wouldn't it?
I guess you could do a play-by-play as, you know, okay, now he's picking up the knife, and now he's walking across the room.
Look, John, that's not actually what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
But What he meant was after the movie, we all go on stage and we answer questions from the audience. The whole cast goes up, something like that.
Oh, okay, that'd be cool.
Sort of like I could even record it with my DR40. There you go. Have it recorded that way. I'll plug right into the main board of the guys in the auditorium there. And then we can play it on the air. Good thinking, Jay. Thank you, John. John's probably sitting there scratching his head saying, what the hell is this guy talking about?
Actually, I was trying to listen to what the show sounded like, and I kind of have to tune out of the live because I can't tell who's live and what's Memorex.
Oh, really? Is it that good?
Well, no, it's just...
Oh, well, no, he says. Thanks a lot, John.
Sorry, man. Just beat me with a spoon.
That's funny.
I'm going to go listen again.
Okay, you do that. I'll do some talking. I want to let everybody know that we do have 2 other shows here on Sandsnet Radio. That would be Night Talk, the Weekend Edition with Dino and Rick, and Sands and Abbott, of course, I spoke about just a little while ago, every Friday at 3 p.m. Night Talk, the Weekend Edition is on every Saturday and Sunday, 11 p.m., right here, Spreaker.com, and on the Sandsnet Radio Network. So, if you want to come on to Spreaker, you can listen to all the updated shows, by the way. If you missed the live shows, just go to www.sandsplace.net/SRN. All of the shows are there. So if you miss anything, you can catch them all day. You can download them there. Everything is there for you. If you miss anything, in case you're missing us live. Rick in the house. Thank you, Rick, who's still on vacation, by the way. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Speaking of that, I have something else to talk about that as well, speaking of vacations. But, that's about that. I forgot what I was talking about because now Rick jumped in. So it's your fault again, Rick. You blew my whole thing because I had to stop and say hello to you because you become a baby all of a sudden when I don't notice you. And you weren't first in the room tonight, so there you go. I forgot what I was talking about. But anyway, I might as well continue with the vacation thing. I will be on vacation next week. And I'm going to have... It's always your fault, Rick. 3 of possibly the greatest talents on Spreaker today. Fill in for me live next week. Monday, Rick Landstrom from Taking Back America will be in the chair. Tuesday night, Ouija's own Ernie Abbott will be hosting Night Talk. And Wednesday, believe it or not, and nobody is going to, if anybody knows this name, nobody's going to believe this, that he's actually going to be able to do this. And that would be Dino. Dino's going to be... Wow. Boy, you see that name? What kind of a reaction you get when people say Dino? It didn't happen. Okay. Anyway, he'll be here sitting in the chair for me on Wednesday night. So you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all live shows next week. Thursday is up in the air. I probably won't be on the air Thursday, so what I'll do is just put up one of the best shows of and play that for you. Unless I can get Mr. John Biven would like to host Thursday night. Thursday is up in the air. Thursday's up in the air?
I was just giving you a tone.
Oh, you were giving me a tone. Oh, is that like a tone test? Is that what that was?
Yeah, that's what's going to be on Thursday.
That's what's going to tone test. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Do you think you'd want to sit in the chair for us on Thursday, John? Which is something you might think about, maybe?
Well, I might think about it. I don't know if I'm ready for prime time.
Okay. I don't want to push you. So you do that and then things fall apart and that's not what we want. If you feel comfortable, the offer is there, my friend. On live radio, I will make that offer to you. If you would like to host on Thursday, you are more than welcome. How's that?
Okay.
You can decide. You'll have till Wednesday at least to decide. If you decide on Wednesday that, yeah, you'd like to do it, I will concur with any one of the guys could set you up. So it's very simple.
Yeah, actually, I'm already set up just in case.
Oh, you sneaking little devil. You've got all the information. You need everything. You could start one of your own right now if you wanted to, couldn't you?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you devil, you. You're just a little devil, Mr. Biven. The Biven Horner. A horny Biven.
Yeah, especially after what my wife was doing.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Oh, my God. You want to share that with everybody?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Let them imagine.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, so that's it. I'll be back, I think, on Friday. Well, I have to be back on Friday for Sands and Abbott, so I probably will be back in the chair next Friday night. So, there you have it. That's our setup. I'm going to have myself a relaxing time, I think. And I'm probably going to be wondering from Wednesday night, from Monday through, well, not through Wednesday, but Monday and Wednesday, whether I come back and have a show at all with Rick and Dino in this chair.
I'm going to pray that your boat doesn't get sunk.
Please. Oh, my God. Could you imagine? Oh, well, if anything should happen to me, I leave my show to John. He gets to engineer the whole show all the time. And they'll just have to split it up between the three of them.
There you go.
That's it. All right. Rick, can you do me a favor? Or Ernie, both of you, actually. Can you tell me how you hear John? And let me know how that sounds to you. John, can you make a quick countdown, please?
Yeah, I'm weak. I think we're going to... I just turned my highs down, so it hopefully will sound better, but I'm weak. I think we're going to have to switch back over to Channel 2.
I'm not liking that. Well, how does it sound? Corey, how does it sound to you? Monday will be the farewell episode, says Rick. I'll kill him. And Corey Jones says, if he had a choice of how he would go at C. Wow. All right, John's mix is a little weak, he said. Okay, so we'll have to readjust that during the next break. Well, let's do that now. In fact, let me see what we're going to play here, because I've got a lot of jazz lined up here, because I was going to play it last night, but then we got into some discussions. Last night was a pretty good show. It ended up as a great show.
After I left, I bet.
Well, we started talking about 9/11, and I was going at it with Dino for a while. We were getting a little hot with each other, but we made up in the end, as adults do. They argue, and they argue with passion, and then at the end they shake hands and go on their way. And either you extended a little knowledge to one another. You came away with a little different view on each point, and or you don't, and you walk away, you shake hands, and it's another day for another argument. And that's the way it's supposed to go, and that's exactly the way it went. And we were talking about 9/11 and the theories that are out there, and I just didn't quite...
And doesn't it figure, I talked to my conspiracy buddy yesterday about that even.
What did he say?
And then I missed it. Well, I'll talk about it after the music break, and after you get me back up on Channel 2.
Well, no, you ain't going. No, I'm going to keep you right there, because this is you're being punished now, okay? Because you get to see things I don't get to see, and that's not fair. Well, no, actually, it is fair. What am I talking about? All right. I think we're going to move away a little bit from the jazz. Let's go with, let's see. How about some Del Shannon, John? Petula Clark? Yeah, I'm not hearing you, John. It's like
I'm
dead
sorry,
air.
I missed that.
Oh, I said I was asking you, what would you like to hear? Something from Del Shannon, maybe? Petula Clark?
I know the name Petulia, that one.
Petulia?
Yeah.
All right, let's play Petula.
Petulia. What's a Petulia?
And it's Petula. Petula Clark. That's her name. It's called Downtown, and here it comes.
Downtown. When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown. When you've got worries, all the noise and the hurry seems to help, I know. Downtown, just listen to the music of the traffic in the city. Linger on the sidewalk where the neon signs are pretty. How can you lose? The lights are much brighter there. You can't forget all your troubles, forget all your cares. So go downtown. Things will be great when you're downtown. No finer place for sure. Downtown, everything's waiting for you. Downtown. Don't hang around and let your problems surround you. There are movie shows downtown. Maybe you know some little places to go to where they never close. Downtown, just listen to the rhythm of a gentle bossa nova. You'll be dancing with them too before the night is over. Happy again. The lights are much brighter there. You can't forget all your troubles, forget all your cares. So go downtown, where all the lights are bright. Downtown, waiting for you tonight. Downtown, you're gonna be alright now. And you may find somebody kind to help and understand you. Someone who is just like you and needs a gentle hand to guide them along. So maybe I'll see you there. We can't forget all our troubles, forget all our cares. So go downtown. Things will be great when you're downtown. Don't wait a minute more. Downtown, everything's waiting for you.
All right, we're back. Now it's only a couple of seconds, not much. That much I can tell you. That was Petula Clock with Downtown. We're playing with the microphones here now. So we're going to go back to the chat room, and we're going to see, how does it sound now, guys?
Okay, I'm talking to you now on Channel 2 when I was on Channel 7, 8, or 5, 6, one of those two. I'm not sure. So, and I'm going to listen to how I sound, too. Oh, I sound good.
Oh, you like that, huh?
Yeah, now it sounds good.
Sounds excellent now, right? See, I'm getting there, buddy. I'm getting there. Good evening to TWV Radio. Welcome again. We haven't really gotten a topic yet tonight, so
we haven't decided if we're going to be disgusting or not.
Yeah,
discussing or not.
And if I can, is it okay if I call you Verna, TWV, instead of throwing your initials out there? Is that all right with you? If I call you Verna, am I allowed to do that? And I only use that because you've put it up on your page there. So let's see. Either I'm going to get yelled at and she's going to tell me where to go, or she's going to say it's okay. Pineapple juice and coconut rum. Oh,
Verna
great.
is good.
Thank you, Verna. Thank you very much. And welcome. It's great to have you with us again tonight. Do you have something that you'd like to talk about, Verna? In fact, why don't you Skype us, Verna, and call in and say hi. We'd love to speak with you. If there's something you want to talk about, or if there's something you want to kick around, let us know. Yeah, you'll give me a topic, I'm sure. Cheaply built trailers. Oh, God. Are you referring to Dino again, Rick? Is that what you're doing? You're referring to Dino? That's not nice. He's not here to defend himself, so I'm going to have to. I don't know. Well, how do I sound, John? You said you sounded fine. What about me? What do I sound like?
You sound good on air, and I think I sound good too. I think we're equally good sounding.
Oh, so this I don't sound better than you?
What am I missing?
Well, because I said I don't sound better than you, and you didn't say anything. It was just dead air.
I'm sorry. I was listening to the return.
Oh, okay. That's fine. That's
it's hard. It's hard to listen to both.
Yeah, I'm sure after what you've been through
over there at the same time.
Did you catch that? I said I'm sure after what you've been through.
Oh man.
Oh, you missed that one too?
I'm totally oblivious.
Okay, all right, then don't worry about it. You said it's hard. You said it's hard, and I said, well, after what you've been through.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway. Okay. There we let's see. Maybe we can get Verna to call in. Here's the Skype address, Verna. That's night.talk4, night.talk4. If you get a chance, Skype on in. We'd love to speak with you. All right. Like I said, we don't have a subject for tonight, so it's going to be a little music until we get going, moving in. Somebody will come up with something. Otherwise, we'll just play some good music for you.
I could talk about what my buddy was talking about.
Yes, let's do that.
Thing.
Yeah, let's cover that, because we did that last night. We were talking about that last night with Dino and the all the stories and the, what do they call it, John?
The truthers and that stuff?
Yeah, but it's more the what's the term?
The conspiracy theory?
That's it. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. Conspiracy theorists and 9/11. So
the thing my buddy was talking about was the somebody says that there was like a particle weapon or something that was used to do something, and I'm not sure if I buy any of that.
Why did he say why he thought that, or what the proof was that there was a particle weapon used? I bet you I know what he's talking about.
Well, there was one thing where a piece of the tower was standing,
the steel, and it just vanished.
It looked like it just vanished, but I have debunked that one.
And all right, because we went over that. Wait, before you say anything, we went over that last night, and Dino said, "Well, look at this. If you look at it, I've been looking, because he was looking and looking and looking for it. And he finally found it. And he says, "Well, here's the proof. Look at this. How can you deny this?" And we're looking at the video, and it shows the building in ruin, and nothing but steel girders standing straight up. And then all of a sudden, you see dust, and it looks like those steel beams just vanish. They vanish in this video. But what was your theory behind that, John?
Okay. That was from a specific angle. But there was another angle that was taken where you actually saw the steel girders fall. What it is that they fall very quickly. Okay? The original when the original building came down, all that concrete dust and stuff collected on that girder that was still standing.
Yep.
And when the girder fell, it fell quickly, but the dust could not fall as quickly as the steel could. So what it looked like was that the girder turned to dust, but what actually happened was the girder fell quickly and the dust fell slower. And so the appearance was that girder disintegrated.
Now, Ernie, you were here last night. That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I told Dino. And he said, well, I'll give you that one, but I don't know. I don't know about that. But that's exactly what happened. As soon as I saw it, I knew what it was. And that's exactly what I told him. First of all, Bep Opera in the house. Welcome, Bep. Bep's got a show here on Spreaker, and they have a station called Exact FM with DJ Matt. They've got a couple of shows going on. What he does is he works with DJs from 10 to 17. And he grooms them to come on the radio and do shows and works them in to be where they need to be. And it's a great
that's
way
cool.
to do things. Yeah. So thank you for that, Bep. Everybody thanks you. So if you're 17 or under, from 10 to 17, please get in touch with Bep or send me an email at nighttalk@sandsplace.net. I'll hook you up with him, and maybe we'll get you on the radio. He's in the house. Who else? Let's see. I already mentioned Verna. Okay, and I think she's calling in because her Skype just came on. Oh, that's going to be great. And let's get back to our discussion. Very logical answer to that, John. Well said, says Ernie. Okay. See, so yeah, that's what we said, and I knew it as soon as I saw it. And everybody's thinking, well, these things disappeared. But if you think about it, if you just sit, you see, most of these things that these people, thoughtologists just jumped into the chat room. Welcome, Billy. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. If you use logic, just logical thinking, like with this video, everybody knows, if you just used a quarter of your brain, that steel cannot evaporate like that. No matter what you do to it, it cannot. Well, in this world, it can't. Let me put it that way, because then you're going to get the people that say, "Oh well, what if an alien came down and shot it with a ray gun?" Yeah, okay, fine, then maybe. But in reality, steel doesn't do that. So there's got to be another explanation for it. But they say, "No, look at that in front of your eyes. There it is. It disappeared." Yes, but it's called an optical illusion.
There you go.
And it's like, what else? Was there anything else you guys talked about? Or is he one of these guys that really pushes this theory? Or
yeah, well, I debunked that one. The thing that was weird that he was talking to me about was all these cars around the area. And there are pictures of these cars.
Yeah.
And I don't know how far away from the towers they are.
Well, let me explain to you. If you've never been to New York City or Lower Manhattan?
No.
Okay. First of all, the towers, where the towers fell, it was, I forget what the square footage is, but there's cars parked all around down in Manhattan, blocks away. When this thing fell, that dust just went out it had to be, I'm guessing here, but it had to be at least a half a mile in all directions, okay? So any car that was parked downtown, outside, got covered with this dust and whatever that was, whatever it is. So go ahead, John.
Okay. Well, there are these vehicles that are quite a ways away from, as far as I can tell, from the towers. And they are burned. And the weird thing is like, a hood on one of these cars was up. The engine block was, melted. And you could tell, like, where, if the sun had been shining, if you imagine the sun shining across a car, and the sun shining gets blocked by, there's a shadow by like, say, the car is partially under a bridge. And so if you would imagine the sun shining on the front of the car, but being blocked by the bridge on the back, so there was a shadow on the back of the car.
Okay.
If you look at these cars, they are burned across the front of the car, but the back of the car is not burned. But in the center of the car, where the metal is all burned and rusted, and the engine block is melted down, the plastic moldings weren't touched. The metal was all burned up, but the plastic moldings were still intact.
Now, first of all, by the way, please say hello to Verna. Hi, Verna.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to Night Talk.
Oh, thanks for having me. How are you guys?
We're doing just fine, and we're talking about, well, you heard what we're talking about. Do you have any opinions about the conspiracy theories concerning 9/11?
Oh, I don't know. I've heard them, but I'm not sure. I mean, some of it makes sense. I mean, it makes you think about, well, it's possibility, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, that's an honest answer. But we were talking about this last night, and we went through, like John just described. Now, do you know that those pictures were taken at Ground Zero?
No, didn't know that.
No, I'm asking John.
No, I do not know that.
Okay, see, because that doesn't... I mean, if a car burns like that, again, logically, that plastic has to melt. right?
Yeah, and you know, if the jet fuel was responsible for burning those cars, you know, that's you know, I can understand them burning.
Well, I would have to look at those pictures to see, because I have a pretty good vision of downtown. I used to work down there. I lived down there, and I know the basic area.
That's my wife kissing on me. Sorry.
Oh my God! I was going to say, Verna, getting personal already. Way to go, Sherry. Sherry, please say hello to Verna.
Hey, Sherry, say hello to Verna. Oh, she can't hear us.
Okay. Hi, Verna. That's John's wife, Vern.
Hi, Sherry.
She said hi. Verna. Yeah. With a V.
I'm the new kid on the block.
Yeah, she's one of the new kids on the block. There you go. And we love having her with us. Thank you so much for joining us, Verna.
You guys have a great show. I love your show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Now it's even better that you're here.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I would really have to look at those pictures, John, to see where it is. Now, the only way that could possibly happen, if jet fuel got even that far, I don't think that could possibly happen. What must have happened is something burning, because there are pictures of videos of molten metal falling from the top of that building. Okay? Now, it could be that the picture that they took of that car could have been directly in line to the molten metal that was falling, or something else, but I doubt if fuel, all that fuel was spent. That's why it got so hot. That's my theory. I mean, people say it couldn't get hot enough to melt steel, but I think it did. I was going to say something else. I was going to make another point, and I can't remember where I was going with it, because I'm getting old and my mind is shutting down. That's all there is to it. You think that's funny, man? It's not funny.
I mean, well, you know, the old part.
The old part. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Dino made a very good point last night, and I have to give him this one. And within this conspiracy realm, he said the plane that hit the Pentagon, there are no pictures of that plane outside or around or of. There are no pictures of the plane after the plane hit, of anything. You can't tell that a plane hit that building. And I said, that's impossible. That cannot be. I searched for almost 40 minutes last night and could not find a picture with the plane sticking out of that building. John? You with me? Did I lose him?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Did you hear anything about that?
You don't see the plane coming out of the building, but I think it all went inside. I mean, I don't think it.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how deep from the outside wall of where that plane hit to the inside courtyard of the Pentagon. How deep, if a plane could fit in there, I don't know. But you would think something, you would be able to see something of a plane, because it was what, a 767 that hit that building? No? Anybody? John?
What was weird was that hole that they...
It was round. It looked, in some pictures it looks round.
Yeah.
So I had to give him that. I couldn't find anything like that. Any pictures at all. There's one picture with it looks like part of an engine, and it doesn't even look like a plane engine outside the building. So I got to give him that one. And that's where we basically left off. So, Vern, how are you, and where are you from, if you don't mind telling us?
I'm great, and I am from Frisco, Texas, which is a suburb to Dallas, Texas.
Cool. That's excellent. So you sound like a conservative to me.
Well, I'm somewhere in between. I consider myself an independent, I guess.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's very good. Is there something you wanted to talk about? Was there anything that you wanted to bring to the discussion or say, or are you just going to hang out with us and talk? Or
I'm just hanging out. Whatever you guys are talking about. It seems like a guys' club tonight. Where are all the ladies?
Yeah. Well, Sherry's busy with her jewelry. She just started a new jewelry business, antique jewelry.
Okay.
So she's in the back working. Kiss Kiss must be, I don't know where she is. Donna hasn't shown up yet. So yeah, we're going to have to put you up on a pedestal there, Verna. You're the only female in the house tonight.
Okay, well, you guys be nice.
Oh, of course, without a doubt. No, you see, you're the new kid on the block. We can't go there with you yet.
Okay, I like a good joke, though, every now and again.
Yeah. Oh, well, you have
Just be yourself around me because I can take it.
There you go. See, but you got to be careful, Vern. In fact, tomorrow night, you haven't heard Night Talk, the Weekend Edition, have you?
Oh, okay.
That's
is it a little racy?
Oh, I'd say
a lot.
Yeah, it's a little more racy than racy.
I can't even listen to it.
Yeah, John.
My ears start burning off.
John, you can't even listen. It's so bad, huh?
Oh, it's awful.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
funny.
It's really contemporary.
It's in your face humor. Yeah, it really is. Let's put it this way: there's no holds barred, and everybody gets it.
So, why? Let me ask you a question. Why did you think I was a conservative?
Well, because usually people that come to listen to this show, I mean, not that I'm a conservative. We push a conservative agenda here, but we tell it like it is. Here, I try to talk facts. I don't push the left. I don't push the right. I push facts, and facts are facts. And people sometimes just can't. They think you're a conservative when you push a factual agenda.
Right.
So, and you happen to fall into that. You weren't sitting there rah-rah for this side or no to that side. You were open to the discussion, and you listened and then made an intelligent response. You gave us an intelligent response. So that basically is, sometimes people
I kind of just, listen to everybody. I, get different points of views, try to listen to see what people are passionate about, and we're all passionate about something.
True.
And so, I just think people should have an open mind.
Right.
Listen to the other side. It's not going to kill you.
That's
may
right.
learn something.
That's exactly right. Yes, and we in turn may learn something as well. It's not likely, but it's possible. It's possible. What is it that you're passionate about, Vern?
Well, you know what? I actually do like politics. It's interesting, but right now I think the country is just going to hell right now.
In a handbasket, huh?
Yeah, and I would like to see somebody come from somewhere that's totally different from the BSers we have in Washington right now, because basically everybody's the same.
From your lips to God's ears.
I just, I don't know. I'd like to see the country get back on track, and I just feel like we're going to be a third world country in about 5 years.
Wow.
Top.
That's interesting.
I'm serious. When people are going to be out in the streets like Egypt, it's just, I'm hoping it doesn't get that bad, but I don't know. It's just, nothing is getting done.
In a way, don't you wish that people in this country would be that vocal, in a way, as far as the Egyptians are concerned, in the streets and letting them know, hey, we're not going to take this anymore?
Yeah, I wish people would, but I don't. I just don't know. If people there are a lot of people that are passionate about the country going to, getting back on track, and then there are people that just want to make money, and they don't care how they make it, and they don't care if the country goes to hell, so it's just all this, people get mad at you if you are not thinking the way they're thinking, and it's just so much.
And you're right.
I want to curse, but
that.
I just can't.
You can if you'd like to. Go right ahead. Don't worry about that here, please. Because speaking of cursing and going to hell, say hello to Rick Landstrom. Good evening, Rick.
What's going on? With all that being said, I just want to say Rick for president.
Yeah.
But I was listening to Rick the other night, and he was making some good points.
You were listening to Taking Back America or here on Night Talk? Because he's got his own show.
On Night Talk the other night. When you were talking about that video about President Obama's the birther thing that was going on.
Oh, yes. His, yeah. Interesting, huh? See, I didn't want to release who gave that to me or where it was, because I didn't want people thinking that I was pushing that agenda. But at one point, I'm going to release it because people need to see it. But I don't want it to be like, well, this is what I think. It's a piece of video that you need to watch because it makes sense. But then again, I said it last night. If you want to push an agenda or you want to make people believe something that isn't true, pepper it with truth. That's how you make people believe what you're saying. You tell them a little truth, and then you throw in a twist here and there. And they tend to believe what you're saying. So there was a lot of that in this piece, but there was a lot of truth in there. It wasn't something like, well, you know, he doesn't have a birth certificate, and he didn't do that, and he never proved this. But they pointed it out, every bit of information, like him not giving up his college records. None of his college records have been seen. We haven't really seen his birth certificate, no matter what anybody says. That what they put up was not his birth certificate. And it's something to really see.
Yeah.
I got to disagree with you on a statement you just made right there, Jay, with this whole pepper with some truth. Whatever happened to the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Well, because people aren't going to believe it. The minute that somebody came out and said, listen, this guy was not an American and is not an American, they all told him to go to hell. Who do you think you are? What are you, crazy? How could that possibly happen? Whereas if he said, well, here is the proof first, and you weren't even going to get that out because the press in this country, they're not going to back that. They're not going to play that story. I don't care who puts it out, unless it comes out of the president's mouth himself. They're not going to go with this. They're not going to run that story. So look what's happened. Look what he's done. Look at the last 4 or 5 phony stories that came out of this administration in the last 3 or 4 months.
Hey, if I could, Jay, actually, the reason why I called in, because it was kind of just driving me nuts, is going back to this whole Pentagon deal.
Uh-huh.
Now, I've looked at just 3 pictures on my phone, real quick. And just the 2 minutes I spent looking at the 3 or 4 pictures on my phone, there's a logical explanation on why you can't see the plane.
Okay, what is it?
Well, number 1, the plane went in at a slight angle. And number 2, the whole roof is collapsed on top of where the plane would be.
Yeah, so what you're telling me is that whole plane ended up inside the building so that none of it could show. That building is that deep. See, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said earlier, I don't know what the dimensions are from the outside wall to the courtyard inside in the middle of the Pentagon. I don't know how long that distance is. Can it hide a plane? Can a whole plane fit there? I don't know.
Well, you know, just let's take the outside of it, for example. If you look at the pictures, you can tell by the fire trucks and stuff that are around that hole that a plane could have easily fit through that hole.
Okay.
The size of it. I mean, you can tell that just by scale with the way, you know, with the fire trucks and the vehicles that are next to it.
Yeah, but that's a round hole. Do you see wing marks going through that building, or is it just a round hole? Where the fuselage went through.
I saw a round hole in one picture, but it was a whole totally different wall.
Okay.
It wasn't the entry point of where that plane went in. And it was a very small round hole at that. Like maybe it was an outer wall in the courtyard that the nose came through or something. I don't know. These conspiracy theories, you know, I said this in chat. If there is any conspiracy at all, it's that our government knew this was going to happen. They knew something, you know, that this was on the horizon. The conspiracy isn't the government blew up the buildings. The conspiracy isn't a missile hit the Pentagon. The conspiracy isn't, you know, all this other hogwash that we keep hearing. You know, explosive charges in buildings to bring them down. You know, if there's any conspiracy at all, is that the government knew this was going to happen.
Okay, and I can understand that, but I don't know if that would be a conspiracy. I mean, if they knew there was... Well, no. Well, so what you're saying, the conspiracy is that they knew and did nothing to stop it? Is that what you're saying? Or they knew it was going to happen and did nothing about it?
Exactly. Just like with this Boston bombing thing. I somewhat believe, and again, I'm not big on conspiracy theories. I'm just not. But I do somewhat believe that the FBI definitely knew what these two brothers were up to, and I also believe that they definitely encouraged it, because, you know, what a lot of people don't talk about is the FBI had been in contact with these two brothers and their family for years before this ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe wholeheartedly that they knew that this was going on, and I'd almost argue that they encouraged it in a way. Almost, I won't go quite as far yet to say that these brothers were patsies, but I'd say it's borderline close to that.
Why would the FBI want to maim and kill people, their own people? Why would they want to do that?
I think it's our government in general that wants to, because number one, we have a government right now who every day
I see where you're going with that.
We have a government right now every day who is fighting to take more and more of Americans' freedoms from them. Now we have this gun control agenda. And our government, and this isn't, stuff like this has happened in the past, 50, 60, 70 years ago. Our government has set up these types of situations. World War II, for example. I forget the name of the project. If I was sitting at my computer, I could tell you the name of the project. But there was a project where they created a terrorist act here in America to gain favor for us being, for us being in World War II and doing the things that we did in World War II. And this is actual truth. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It was actually called something. And again, if I was at home sitting in front of my computer, I could tell you what the project name was. So this goes way back. This isn't unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
This is something government has done in the past.
Well, that would have to be around Woodrow Wilson's time then. Because I don't see any other president in history other than Woodrow Wilson. Oh, wait, there was another one? There was one or two in our history, I guess. Well, I guess it's possible. I don't know, because I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll talk about this on Monday when I'm sitting in the big chair there.
There you go.
And, I'm going to be home tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll get the name of that project. It was during World War II. It was called something or other. It was a project the government came up with, and what they were doing is they were creating terrorist-type acts here in America to gain favor for being involved in World War II.
Okay.
It's declassified information now.
Well, it would be after all those years, so that's okay. Yeah, that'd be excellent. I can't wait to hear that. Vern, just jump in at any time here. Don't be.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. I'm training her. I'm bringing her along to let her know.
Okay, well, I really just wanted to listen to you guys. That I'll try to throw my opinion in there. I don't know this. Like I say, this whole thing, it does kind of make you think. But why would our government do that? Is my question.
What Rick is trying to say.
The
purpose is to
pass an agenda.
To pass an agenda and to fundamentally change this country.
Absolutely.
What's the agenda?
The agenda is socialism.
To bring in Homeland Security so that they can come in and pass things where they can search you, or they can do things to you that are
against the Constitution.
That have not been normal.
In other words, to do this so that they can come in and say, like they did with the Patriot Act, where they've really gone beyond the Patriot Act here. But in the Patriot Act, the Constitution, you are only allowed to search or listen to conversations on any single person and not a group of people. You must have a warrant or a search warrant from a judge for each individual person that you listen to, Americans anyway. And what they've done now, the NSA, is they've been listening to groups and hundreds and millions of people. So they're breaking the law there. And this is the agenda that they're pushing. They're pushing the envelope further and further, so that the liberties that you have are less and less, where they have more power, they get to do what they want, and you can't say anything about it, basically.
And, again, this is another one. The Patriot Act isn't new.
No,
just because it was called something else. Again, this is another project that has been going on since World War II, and man, I hate not having my computer in front of me with all my info in front of me. But this has been going on since World War II. I forget the name of the act off the top of my head.
Wait, I think I have it. I think Ernie has found it. Operation Northwoods?
No.
That make it doesn't sound.
No, not for the Patriot Act.
Oh no, but, the operation you were talking about earlier. Does that ring a bell?
That may be.
Okay.
Have you guys read that book, 1984, by George Orwell?
No.
Orwell, yeah.
Well, it's interesting because the things that are, the NSA and all of the spying that they're doing on citizens now, George Orwell wrote about that,
That's a good point. You're right. You're absolutely right.
It's just interesting that it's, all this stuff is coming up now, and I'm just not surprised, some of the things that are taking place. But, I guess if you believe in that New World Order thing, maybe that has something to do with it too.
Well, that's exactly right, and it's I just had it in my head and I forgot. I hate when that happens.
I'm not going to go as far as believing in the New World Order just yet, because again, this is why I stay away from conspiracy theorists. Because if you listen to conspiracy theories, it's not, if there is some type of New World Order going on, which is very possible, don't get me wrong, but if you listen to conspiracy theorists on it, it's a lot more gruesome than what I think really it is. But you earlier when you said, Verna, why would our government want to do that? Why would they do that to the people? And I hear that from so many people, and this is where I think Americans need to wake up. Every administration becomes more and more power hungry, and we just happen to be in the midst of an administration that is taking it to the top. I mean, this administration is so power hungry, it is insane, and I would not put it past them to do anything to pass their agendas. Everybody freaks out about gun control. Oh, gun control, Obama on gun control. He wants to take our guns. But, let's be fair about this. We went through the same thing when Clinton was in office. When Clinton was in office and he was getting ready to sign the assault weapons ban treaty, everybody, all the conspiracy theorists that are out now said the same exact things now that they were saying then. And we still have our guns.
Okay.
So
that's only because the Democrats in the Senate and the House knew there was nothing they can do about that. The American people were not going to allow them to take their guns from them. So that was that was lip service to the left. That's all that was.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. But see, my point is, this is the reason why I have a hard time with conspiracy theorists, because
without a doubt,
every election cycle they come back into play. And it's the same conspiracies that supposedly have been going on for years and years and years, but it's yet never to happen. Now, I do believe that this administration wants stricter gun control, but like you just said, Jay, at the end of the day, they know that they're going to have a hell of a time. Yeah, exactly. They're going to have a hell of a time disarming the American people.
But what they're trying to do is little bit by little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what they're trying to do. If they can't get it done in one fell swoop, then they have to point to other things that are going on. It's like, well, look at this kid that shot up the movie theater. Look at this kid that shot up this school. Look at this, and look at this, and look at this. And they're trying to sway the people little bit by little bit, trying to divide them and get them thinking their way so that eventually they can get those guns away. And I think that's what they're trying to do now.
Exactly. See, what he's doing is he goes to the max and then has to pull it back. But in pulling it back, he makes, instead of, let's say he goes for 2 feet, and he's got to pull it back 2.5 or a foot and a half. He's already gained a half a foot. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. And
so everything, little by little, he's getting them passed, like doing things on a Friday night after a holiday, or the appointments that he's making, or going around Congress and doing things like that. The appointments that he's making, that's how he's making his gains.
Well,
and just a little piece of it.
Go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say, just a little piece of information. The Pentagon is about 500 feet from the edge of the wall to the inner court.
So then it's a plane?
And a plane is about 195.
So it's
747 is about 195 feet long. So it
it's
could
very, very possible. Okay, see, that's what I didn't know. So now there goes that theory. But you were going to say, Rick?
And like I said with those pictures, you can just tell by the scale of the pictures with the vehicles around it that it's totally plausible for a plane to be buried in there. And then, like I said, if you look at that, there's 2 floors of roofing, 2 stories of roofing material that are collapsed in on top of it. So, I mean, it's not like you're... And then, the point where, we didn't see the plane sticking out. Well, no, the plane entered that Pentagon at 400, 500, 600 miles an hour? It's going to go in a bit.
Oh, yeah, but that's what I didn't know what the depth was. Could a plane fit in there? And obviously it could. So it could. Plus the fact on impact and all, again, with the fuel, things are going to dissipate. I mean, things are going to disappear. The fuselage is going to burn up. You're not going to have... a regular plane crash. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm saying it correctly or not. Well, joining us right now, please, everybody, say hello to Ernie Abbott. Ernie, say hello to Verna, Rick, and John.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Nice speaking with you.
Pretty soon, my whole chat's going to be on the show. What's up, Ernie? I noticed you were talking about... Yeah, go ahead. Say hello to Verna. Get acquainted. I'll wait.
Speaking with you. Very, very pleasant to speak to you. And thank you for joining my show earlier today. I appreciated that very much as well.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Thank you.
Don't let his head get too big, Vern. Okay, because you're throwing those compliments.
You had a good show.
Oh, you see, so it is a good show then.
on occasion.
No, it's a good show every day. And we're talking about WEJA's Ernie Abbott, the Ernie Abbott Show, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday, right here on Spreaker.com. Go, Ernie.
And we love you all. Thank you very much.
So what do you have to say?
Call in. I was listening to your comments, you and Rick, regarding the NSA and the program that they have going on that's under the microscope as we speak. As you know, Jay, I was in the service 10 years in the Air Force, and
yes.
I spent 3 of those years stationed at Fort Meade, Maryland, at the National Security Agency.
Oh, really? So you were serious when you said that?
I worked in the building. Yes, I did, for 3 years.
Wow. Okay.
And military members do not wear uniforms when you work in that building. I wore civilian clothing each and every day, so they could not identify, who was military, who was not.
Right.
So, but this is a very compartmentalized intelligence building. In other words, you would have a special colored badge which allowed you to get into certain parts of the building.
Well, Ernie, before you go any further, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you're not giving away any secrets here that they're going to come and get you for.
Well, I had to sign an agreement 10 years after I left the service. I couldn't speak about anything for 10 years, and I got out in 86, so 90, we're well past
Oh, okay, all right. Because I'm just looking out for you. I don't want them to come, because I'm sure they're listening. Believe me, I'm sure they're listening, and they're trying to find out how we're going to twist the Night Talk crew into
But,
presence.
you talk about the delicate line between individuals' privacy, and we take that, very strongly here in the United States, our privacy and respectful of others' privacy. And many people are taken aback by finding out that our government is actually, monitoring all communications coming in and out of our country, everything for everybody. And in my opinion, you want to hear my opinion, I'm willing, if it saves one life for them to discover something that's going on, and they don't care about conversations me or you are having. There's certain phrases and certain words they're looking for, and certain identity of, certain people that have already been identified that they're really focusing on. The other is casual stuff that they don't use it for anything. It's just,
but here's
tabs to me.
Here's my point, Ernie.
Go ahead.
They're building another a 200,000 square foot facility to house computers or whatever the hell they're going to store this information on. Why do they have to store this information and keep this information? Why can't they go through it and get rid of it? Why do they have to hold on to it? That's what I don't like about this.
Well,
Second of all,
eventually they will, because what they do is they're
holding on to it forever because they want to be able to go back and pinpoint. If you say something like they're listening today and you say something, I don't know, against somebody or other that they don't like, and they want to go back in and check, they can go back 3, 5, 10 years and say, well, listen, remember you said this back then, or they said this then, look at the pattern here. I'm not too cool with that. And not only that,
but if you got nothing to hide, what are you worried about?
It's not that I got anything to hide, but if you give them an inch, they take a yard. You give them a yard, they take a mile.
I agree.
Now you're holding information about me that you don't need. You don't need that information. So why would you want to hold on to it? That raises my antennas immediately. Why would you want to hold on to something that you don't need? I can understand going through it.
I worked in an office, Jay, in that building that dealt with receiving information like you're talking about. I was a communications security analyst, and we were looking for certain bits of information, and there was nothing in there in that conversation we would discard it.
Good, and that you see that I have no problem with, but I also have a problem with when you're listening to people, especially Americans, and you don't get that warrant that you need, and you have to do it for every single person.
The FISA court signs off on it.
Right, but you got to do it for each individual person. They're listening to millions of people. Without court orders, that's not quite. You're pushing the envelope, is what I'm saying. And
I'm
why
saying
do
there's
that?
certain things that that are secret, or top secret, or classified. No, everything in that building is. As a matter of fact, everybody that works in there has a clearance. But there's certain information that unfortunately, people should never hear.
No, and I agree with that. Yeah, there's stuff that we really shouldn't have to hear. Really, there's no need for us to know unless it has to do with infringing on our rights and it goes against the Constitution. Then I want to know. Like listening to stuff you shouldn't be listening to, compiling information that you shouldn't have, that you have no reason to hold. See, it's a fine line there. And
but where I stand, Jay, is if something they find out and they're able to squash something that's going on or something that people are planning to do, if they can squash it and save one life, one American life, to me it's worth it. That's my personal opinion.
It is, but where does it stop? That's the whole thing.
I'm willing to give them 10 yards. I'm willing to give them that 10 yards, Jay.
Well, I don't know.
I'm telling you.
Not to the point where I don't want to get to the point where they abuse this stuff. That's what I'm saying. And once they get to that point, you can't pull them back.
I'm to be quite honest with you, unless I'm unaware of what's going on over there now.
Well, that's what Rick's point is now. You're talking about a whole different administration now. You're not talking about 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's been a while since I've been there, and they evolved most definitely. But
without a doubt.
I don't think. I think their intentions are still noble, and I think they're not using that information. This is just me. This is my personal opinion. That's having worked there. That's what I believe. And this stuff goes back. It isn't something new. When this agency was started back in the 1940s, they had projects going on back in those days. They had a thing called Project Shamrock, which is an espionage exercise started in August 1945 that involved the accumulation of all telegraphic data entering into or exiting from the United States. They had the telegraph back in those days. They went as far along with communications. They were given direct access to daily microfilm copies of all incoming, outgoing, and transiting telegrams via the Western Union and its associated RCA and ITT networks. The NSA did the operational interception, and the information would be of interest to other agencies was found. The material was passed to them. Interception messages were disseminated to the FBI, CIA, Secret Service, Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs, and the Department of Defense. No court authorized its operation, and there were no warrants.
This is back in the 40s.
1945. When this agency started. So it's been going on since 1945, Jay.
Yeah, but still, I don't know. See, I'm on the edge there. Does it make it right? Where do they stop? And once they pass that line, how do you bring them back? You see what I'm saying? Because once now they got that control, they're never going to let it go, Ernie.
Well, they got the Senate Intelligence Committee that looks over their shoulder and is involved with all. And those members of that committee have clearance is high enough where they can talk to these people and they can be honest with them, go back and forth, and they know what's going on. And that's there's people from both sides of the aisle that are on that committee.
Yes, I get that. I understand that. But what do you do? How is that committee gonna handle an end around like this president's been doing? He's been going around Congress. He's been going around the Senate. He's been going around everybody, getting things done left and right, in and out, in the night, in the morning, when people aren't looking, people aren't watching. You know what I'm saying? And my problem is, and this is my problem with it, is that once they get past that point, you can't bring them back.
Yeah, I hear you. Once the genie's out of the bottle.
You can't put it back in the bottle. And if you allow them to go that far or allow them to hit that edge, how are you going to pull them back? Because then they've got information, they can do what they want.
In my eye yet, Jay, they have not reached that point yet in my eye.
We don't know that yet.
What they're doing right now, I don't consider that over the top. Like I said, I consider it looking out for every American man, and I'm all for it.
Well, I don't know what this kid, what do you think about this kid that released all this information?
I think he's a traitor.
Yeah, but he released information that I don't want to get into it.
He should have never had access to the security information to start with. They do a background investigation on each and every person before they give him a clearance. And this guy had so many red flags of places where he was vulnerable to people that could hit him up for, to hit him up for information, what's the word they use? It's skipping my mind. It's been a long day.
That's quite all right, my friend. While you're thinking that, Thought has kicked up a little dust here in the chat room. He says he has serious concerns with Ernie saying, if you're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. I completely disagree, he says.
I do too.
He goes, okay, well, we're going to hear from Rick in a minute. Then Mike Stuchko, who's in the house, thanks for joining us. Mike says, learn to erase your tracks and data. Okay. We're back to Benghazi, against the law. Then, Vern says they should have been listening to the Boston Bombers. What? You could have said that, Vern.
Well, he was talking now. You just can't interrupt people.
Yeah, you have to interrupt here. Otherwise, they step all over you. Just jump right in. Get out of my way. Listen to me. Throw up your, say, don't worry. We're with you. We got you covered. And then, let's see. Mike says, Thought says, it violates the Constitution. How is this debatable? And Mike says, against the law, yes. And because the government makes and changes the laws to benefit them. So they're going back and forth on that. Rick, what did you have to say about that?
Well, with Ernie's earlier comment, if you're doing nothing bad, you have nothing to worry about, I totally disagree with. On the Snowden deal, I totally agree with. But let me start with that first comment. Listen, Thought's right. It's unconstitutional. It's one thing to wiretap possible terrorist threats, but to wiretap everyday Americans. Listen, I have the list of words that they're looking for and they're listening for.
Flag words.
And yes, I have a list of the flag words at home on my computer, and it's a long list. There's hundreds of words on here. Now, some of the words are I can understand why they would be listening for some of these words, but there are a lot of words like cloud, ice. See what they have it set up. They have it certain subcategories, and every there's a category they call it weather. There's a category they call it chemical, and so on and so on. And there are a lot of everyday words that Americans use for no reason whatsoever that would activate them listening. And I think it's bullshit. So for someone to believe that not every American is being listened to, they're a retard if they believe that. Every American is being listened to because some of these words are just normal, everyday words that people use often.
So is that how they're getting around the fact that now they can listen to everybody because of these words on this list? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And they try to associate these words with possible terrorist threats. Well, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Some of these words are considered code words or red flag words for possible terrorist threats. I have no problem with, the FBI wiretaps criminals all the time to gain evidence. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with the government wiretapping possible terrorist threats. But for them to just for them to listen in on every single American is unconstitutional.
Well, let me play devil's advocate for 1 second, Ernie.
Americans that are calling known terrorist cells and so forth, and people involved with all that bullshit overseas, you're against that as well?
I am not. I am not.
You're okay with monitoring Americans?
They are involved in terrorist activity, just like when the FBI wiretaps a criminal. Let's say they're wiretapping someone that's linked to the mob.
Citizen ain't doing things. You know what I mean? That's going to be the next wave of terrorists we're going to have to deal with. These independent knuckleheads like these two from Boston that get together, get their 2 cents in there, and try to do shit. That have no record before of having done anything.
Now, no, that's not true.
That's not true.
That is not true.
I'm not saying this group in particular. They knew about this group. The Russians let them know and everything like that.
Yeah.
They had their heads up their ass with these two.
What about, you talked about the list, Rick. Now, you mentioned like words like cloud or weather or stuff like that. Now, what if those are code words that, let's say, here's the scenario. You got Americans talking to people overseas, let's even say even terrorists, known terrorists, but they're using code words like cloud and rain or stuff like that. Could that possibly be what they're talking about? Or do you feel it's... they're using this to stretch their grasp, so to speak?
I honestly believe they're using it to stretch their grasp. Now, I will say that I'm sure they could find a way to come up with an argument for using, for listening for these everyday words. But I honestly believe that it's to stretch their grasp. Listen, our government on a daily basis goes out of their way to stretch their power. Bigger government, more power over the people. And I don't know why people are all of a sudden blind to this. And, this is by design. Obama's words out of his own mouth were, if we want more security, we have to give up a few freedoms. No, we don't.
No. See, no.
And this is exactly what they're doing.
But you see, that's the agenda of communism. And I'm going to say it. People don't want to use the words, but that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. If here's a man that was brought up by communists. His grandmother, his grandfather. This is known. This is fact. They were communists. His mother was not even an activist, worse than an activist. His father, his biological father, was an activist, and not a good one. These people, he grew up with people that were prominent in the communist community. They were communists. That's what and how this guy even got to where into the Senate is beyond me. So, I mean, you want to talk conspiracy theories? Let's talk. I mean, here's something you can prove.
But see, that's my whole point here just a second ago with, our government is trying to convince Americans that we need to give up certain freedoms to have that extra security, which is bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that right now. And, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, Ernie said it himself. Hey, I have no problem with it if it's going to keep us safe. Well, that's what our government has convinced us. But I want to remind you, back when Reagan was president, and we were in the midst of a Cold War with Russia, who was right next door to us, and we didn't have to give up any freedoms to stay safe.
True. Going into the chat room, unless anybody else has anything to say.
We were monitoring people's communications since 1945, Rick. They've been doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with that. And I can't argue with that. And that's the point I tried to make earlier. The Patriot Act and what Obama's doing now is nothing new. It is absolutely nothing new. This has been going on for 50, 60 years. In fact, I can't remember the name of the specific act. But there was something enacted during World War II that permitted this type of spying on Americans. And it's been going on forever. And everybody now, people made a big deal about it when Bush, you had the people who hated Bush making a big deal about it because they didn't like Bush over the Patriot Act. Mm-hmm. Now you got a ton of people who don't like Obama are making it a big deal. Listen, I don't like Obama, but fair is fair. This has been going on forever. And every single president since this was enacted, they have to renew it I think it's every year or every 2 years or something like that. And every president has renewed it up to Obama. So it's not just Obama. This has been going on forever.
Yeah, and it will continue. It will never stop until the American people rise up. And
wouldn't that be
like the people out in Egypt, out in the streets.
Wouldn't that be
the government back? That's the only way we're going to, stop this.
Damn right.
if
It's
we
at
get
the
out.
polling. It's at the voting booth, man. That's where we got to make it happen.
And that,
You gotta
It's
get
the
these
same
knuckleheads.
people all the time.
yeah.
You know what it is? But they always say, Vernon, well, it's not my guy, it's your guy that's the problem. And they keep sending these same idiots to office looking for change, and it ain't going to happen.
No, it's not, because we need some
This
new
is-
people.
That's right. We need to fire all these
You
bastards.
gotta forget
and
the
start
label.
over.
Last
You
one,
gotta
I'll be
forget
the
the label. Like you were saying, you gotta forget the label a person has. Look at the person. Look at the individual. Look what they stand for, and then go for the person that you like, that agrees with you most. You know what I mean? I don't care. I don't look at the label. I don't care about the label. I look at the man or the lady that's running.
And you know what? You know what, Ernie? That is the way our forefathers designed it. You know, our forefathers warned us against party systems. They knew that this is what would happen if party systems were involved. And they warned us against that. And they were absolutely right. We weren't supposed to vote someone because of their party affiliation. There weren't ever supposed to be a party system.
Well, didn't they have a party system back then, Rick?
No.
Well, what were the Whigs and the powder Whigs and this and that and this and the Republicans and the didn't they have parties back then?
The Republicans weren't. The Republicans didn't come around until the mid 1800s. Maybe even the later 1800s.
It was back in the 1860 because Lincoln was a Republican.
He was a Whig to start with, Jay.
Yeah,
He was a Whig
that's right.
before he was a Republican.
That's right.
The Republican Party was started right around Lincoln, and the Democrat Party, I believe, was started right around the same time. Again, don't quote me on this.
I'm quoting you no matter what you say, pal. So forget about that. You say something here, I'm quoting you, okay? So you're getting the quote.
If I was at home, I'd give you the exact year. I mean, I did a whole show on this, so unfortunately, my memory sucks. And yeah,
Well, join the club, so don't feel bad about that. I do it. You can see I do it every 5 minutes here. Well, while we got this quick break, I'm going to play a little song. Everybody's going to take a small break. We're going to take a deep breath, release, take it easy, nice and easy, and we'll get back to the discussion. And then we're going to go into the chat room, see what they're talking about over there. But right now, let's listen to Mr. Frankie Valli coming up at you, swearing to God. A little dance music for you, get your blood going, get up out of the chair, move around a little bit. This is Night Talk. I'm Jay Sands. We're with Verna. We're with Ernie Abbott. I've got Rick Landstrom from Taking Back America. Rick with me from Night Talk with Rick and Dino. Also, John is in the back somewhere. I don't know what he's doing. But we're all here. We're talking, and we'll be back in just a little bit. Don't you guys go anywhere. Sandsnet Radio Network. You're listening to Night Talk on the Sandsnet Radio Network.
Swear to God.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. That was Frankie Valli, Swear to God, from way back when. Yeah, back in the 70s, I believe. 70s, early 80s, something like that. But there you have it. Great song. Great dancing song, too. I love that song when it came out. We're back. I've got Vern with me. We're here with Ernie and Rick. John in the background. I want to see what's going on in the chat because I have been following. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. It's all crooked. They tell us that they want us to know and pass laws to benefit them. This is Mike Stuchko. Don't just elect the president. Start all new election at time and clean the slate. Start fresh.
Amen.
Get some new thoughts in there, yeah. I wish we could do that. I'm all for it, but it's never going to happen. And he thinks he's babbling to himself. Mike thinks he's babbling to himself. I wonder if he's on the second bottle or what. Let's see. You want to fight or what? Empty the prisons and let them fight and keep our good boys home. Wow. I like that, Mike. I like that. Imagine that. Yeah, you get sent up for a 10-year stretch. You got to go out. You got to go fight. Look at that.
Yeah.
The presidents in for 2 terms, then the rest of them should be in for only 2 terms. That's Pep Popper.
Yeah, definitely need term limits on the rest of them.
Yep.
On Congress, all of it, because there's some of those people been in there forever.
40 years.
And then we take care of them
years.
forever, too. That's why they never want to quit.
Yeah, and they're dying in office. Yeah, you're absolutely
Rick, it was
right.
never meant to be a career, right, Rick?
No,
it was meant to be
it
go
was
do
not.
your public service, and then you go back to your village or your town or your farm.
Right, and that's why they didn't get paid in those days. They all these people that will look at George Washington. I always use George Washington as an example because the man made his own money. He had his whatever it was, his slaves, his plantations. How he made his money. He was a rich guy. He went kicking and screaming both times back to the White House. He wanted no part of it. He wanted to be a general, and that's all he wanted to do. But when they came to him and said, "We need you to be president of the United States and run things," he went kicking and screaming, but he did it. And he got out when he could, and then they dragged him right back in again. But that all these people, they all had their lives. They went, they did what they had to do, and then they went back to work.
Now, hey, James, speaking of George Washington, do you mind if I back up my forefathers warned us against a 2-party system?
No, you can't, because then I have to quote you, and I don't feel like it.
Fair enough.
But go ahead. Never let it be said that I wasn't fair.
Well, okay. I won't say it behind your back. But anyway.
Go ahead.
Yeah, John Adams said, "There is nothing which I dread so much as a division of the Republic into 2 great parties, each arranged under its leader in concerted measures in opposition to each other. This is my humble apprehension, is to be dreaded as the greatest political evil under our Constitution." Now, George Washington agreed, saying in his farewell presidential speech, "The alternate domination of one faction over another, sharpened by the spirit of revenge, natural to party dissension, which in different ages and countries has perpetrated the most horrid enormities, is itself a frightful despotism. But this leads at length to a more formal and permanent despotism. The disorders and miseries which result gradually incline the minds of men to seek security and repose in the absolute power of an individual. And sooner or later, the chief of some prevailing faction, more able or more fortunate than his competitors, turns his disposition to the purposes of his own elevation on the ruins of public liberty." Does that sound familiar to anybody of what's going on?
Wow. More things change, the more they stay the same.
There you go.
Well, I don't care who's president next. I just don't think anything is going to change. I mean,
I agree.
I throw this out. I used to say it to my students, to dwell on the past is to lose sight in an eye. To forget the past is to lose sight in both eyes.
Very interesting.
Got to remember that, man.
That's a good one.
Kids nowadays aren't getting
To be or not to be, that is the question.
Whether it is, yes, indeed.
What's for dinner?
7 years ago,
Hey, I had catfish with fried potatoes my mom fixed. It was really good.
Interesting. Speaking of catfish, did you catch any salmon up there, Rick?
I didn't. I got shut out on the salmon front. I ate some salmon. I got a smokehouse that I go to when I'm up here every year.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. You go fishing every year, but you go to a smokehouse to buy your fish? Really?
I got it. I got to get my smoked salmon when I'm up here. And the reason why is because this little place I go to, they've been in operation for 40 years, and they're still just as rustic to this day as they were 40 years ago. As a matter of fact, 3 doors down from them, 3 buildings down from them, a big, huge, fancy, state-of-the-art smokehouse opened up. And I refuse to go to them. I love going to this little rustic mom-and-pop place. I've been going there every year for the last 12 years. I just absolutely love him. He has the best fresh smoked salmon in town as far as I'm concerned. And
well, why do you have to go buy it in a place? Why don't you just look for the smoke coming out of the water and fish those guys out? Aren't those smoking fish?
Well, the run hasn't officially started up here. You get stragglers that come up, especially through the nighttime. They'll come run up a little bit. You'll see a few here and there. During the day, you may see a couple run through. The true run is still a couple weeks away. So you're really pretty lucky if you catch one out of the river during this week anyways, but it doesn't stop me from trying. But, you may see 1 or 2 salmon every 4 hours or so. At this time of the year. But I did go down to the harbor today to do a little bit of fishing. And I got to admit, I was shut out there, too. Usually, I went down there to see if the salmon, because I had heard on the fish report that the salmon were running close to the shorelines, heading for the mouth of the river. So I figured I'd head up there, try my luck up there. No luck. Normally when I go up there, I at least catch, pike or, maybe a brown trout or 2 or even a catfish. And I got totally shut out today. So,
well, like Mike Stuchko says, it's a good excuse to drink beer.
It is. And I'll tell you what now, the guys next to me, there's a 5th wheel right next to me right now, and they got 10 guys over there with lines in the river right now, because right now, this time of night, is kind of, during this time of year, is your best chance to catch salmon out of this river.
Oh, so why don't you do this, Rick? Why don't you go over there, let's interview them all, put them on the radio, and see what's going on over there.
Because I don't want them thinking I'm some weird freak. Who the fuck is this guy having us on radio?
Well, you are.
Radio? What the hell are you talking about?
Well, you are, aren't you?
Well, yeah, but they don't know that. I got a camp up here,
Yeah, you're right. Okay, all right. I just forget names.
I've got my radio reputation, and then I've got my normal life reputation, which I'd like to keep.
I'm sorry to piss on your parade, Rick, but neither one of them are very good.
I'm not claiming that. I'm just saying. I try to keep the 2 apart.
Oh, all right. Oh, no. Oh, well, then I understand.
I'm only a partial asshole off the air.
Hey, what kind of beer you guys drink?
I don't partake. When I do, it's
domestic beer.
I like, what domestic beer? Go ahead, Ernie. What?
Budweiser, man.
Oh, Bud, you're a Bud man.
Although it's owned by a foreign company now.
Yeah, just a bunch of sweets.
Rick?
No, I drink Narragansett beer. It's a local beer here brewed in Rhode Island. Narragansett, named after the bay here. Yep, good stuff.
I'm not really a beer drinker, but I have every now and then partake in some. I like a Shiner Bock, which is a Texas dark beer. It's pretty good.
Shiner Bock, yeah. I just started looking at those commercials. They got commercials running now, don't they?
Yeah.
Shiner Bock.
So, on the line with a bunch of commies. You got Ernie drinking Swedish beer. You got Verna drinking China beer. Let me guess.
Texas.
There you go.
Is it made in Texas?
That's a Texas beer.
Texas beer.
All right.
Look it up. Make sure. I'm gonna look it up first. Make sure.
Okay.
But I thought it was.
Right now, I'm drinking Bell's Midwestern Pale Ale. It's a brewery here in Michigan. They have a great selection from this brewer up here when I come up here, and so every year I go with something different from them. This year
Stuchko likes Bush and Keystone Light.
Who?
Stuchko, Mike. Bush and Keystone Light, he says.
It doesn't surprise me. He's from Pennsylvania.
Well, that's Pennsylvania beers. Is that what you're saying?
Our sheets on our bed.
Yeah. That's when he's not drinking the moonshine.
Yeah, I know. Man, I'd love to, you know what, Mike? I'd love to have, I don't want to get him in trouble, but I'd love to have him ship me a bottle of that stuff. That's got to be illegal somewhere along the line, huh? It's illegal to make it, right?
Yeah, and see, Verna laughs, but I'm not making that up, Verna. I've got, he showed up on one of the weekend edition shows, and that was after a quart of moonshine. Boy, was that a great show and a great call.
Yes, I remember that.
My brother married this lady in Alabama, and her mom used to make moonshine.
Ooh, see, I can't get my hands on this. I'd love to taste it. I hear it's like powerful. It's like drinking dynamite.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. I wouldn't drink that stuff.
Mike had the good stuff, too. It's called apple pie, I believe it's called.
He says, give me an address.
You know, they had a television show about moonshine, people making moonshine. It was kind of interesting.
Yes, they did.
It was a great show.
Yeah.
It was a great show. I loved that show.
I watched a couple of episodes. Well, it wasn't that great. Come on, Rick. Relax.
I absolutely loved that show. I really did.
Nobody cares.
Oh, fuck you.
Be nice. We have a new guest.
Oh, that's straight.
Until
Sorry
she gets
about
used to
the F-bomb
you.
there, Verna.
Yeah.
Normally, I don't cuss.
Yeah, right.
But not like I haven't heard it before.
There you go. Let's see. Damn good call. 190 proof. Wow. That's like more than double what a bottle of scotch is. Bottle of scotch is what, 80 proof?
Mexican V whiskey there.
There you go. Wow. Talk about burning you up. Ooh, baby. In fact, you put a worm in that thing, it'd probably disintegrate.
Can you imagine having the runs the next day after drinking that?
I could see the flames from here.
Back when I was on the road playing music, we used to use Mexican 190 proof V whiskey. We'd spray it on our cymbals on the drum set, and then the guy would hit the cymbals and do a fire drum solo. It was
really? Oh, Jesus.
Wow. Anyway, I'm going to jump out of here. My wife's wanting to spend some time with me because she's going to be out all day tomorrow doing jewelry again.
Isn't that sweet?
I was so enjoying vicariously being on vacation with you, Rick, because I know that place where you're at, and I went there since even before I was born. My mom took me there when I was still in her belly.
Ooh.
So.
Oh, that's right. You vacationed up in this very same area I'm in right now.
Yeah, but I've probably eaten that smoked salmon from the same place you got it, so...
Well, you have a good night, John. Thank you so much. I thank you for all of your help. That thing is in the mail tomorrow, so I'll expect something back from you before... It should be here when I get back, no?
Could be, yep.
Cool. Can't wait.
As soon as I get your address, I'll send it to you.
You got it, my friend. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, John Biven, my engineer. Thank you, buddy.
Have a good night, John.
Bye, John.
Take care.
Good to see you, John. I just got to say...
Shiner is from Shiner, Texas. It's a city called Shiner, Texas.
Oh, Shiner. I thought you were saying China, like...
No.
You know.
Okay, my S's sound like C's, but Shiner,
Oh,
Texas.
much better.
Shiner Bach, yes.
Gotcha. I thought you were saying China.
It's off of Highway 95. So if you ever... Between Houston and San Antonio. If you're ever in Texas. Be like, dark.
Things keep going the way they're going. I'm going to be moving there.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well,
I love Texas. I'm sorry. I love Texas.
Texas is the model for the country right about now. So what do you think of your governor? I got to ask you that. I've never really spoken to a Texan.
I'm sorry. I don't like him.
You don't like him?
It's crazy. I do not like him.
Why?
Let me ask you why.
I don't know, it's just something about his whole demeanor, and then he just acted so dumb when he was running for president, just kind of embarrassed the state.
I mean,
he's not a dumb dude, but he just came across, I don't know, I don't like it.
Well, because of that, not because of the job he's doing in your state.
Well, I think he's doing a decent job.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say
decent job. You know what? Let me give you some numbers, Verna, which you should know because you live in Texas. But do you know, while every other state in the country is in the crapper, your state has an $800 million surplus because of that, man?
Yes, I heard that.
he's just doing an okay job?
Well, I'm sorry. You know what? Okay, he's doing a good job. I'll give him good. But I just don't like him.
He doesn't.
You know how
like
sometimes you just don't like people?
Just kidding. Yeah.
But I don't
It's
know.
like me and Rick. I don't like Rick, so.
I was just going to say the same thing about Jay.
See that? No, it's.
No, okay, well, a lot of people don't like President Obama, but, I guess I don't like his policies. I don't like some of his policies myself. But I don't know, I just don't like Rick Perry. I just don't like him.
See, it's not that I don't like Obama. I mean, as a person, because I really don't know him. I mean, I think he's a great dad and all, but his politics are just like the worst I've ever seen. And that's why I say I don't like
I don't think he's really making any policies.
And that's a pretty good point, Bernie.
Has nobody read his books?
No, I haven't. I wouldn't buy his books. I'm sorry.
All right, well, read just excerpts of his books. He's an idiot as a person as well as a president. I don't like
wait a minute. How can you say that?
Presidential or personally?
The man was president of the law review in Harvard. Stupid people don't get to do things like that. So I don't know about stupid. You just said he was stupid. Didn't you just say that?
All right, well then let me rephrase. I do not like him as a person or as a president. I think he is a very egotistical, narcissistic person and a president.
Okay.
Don't you almost have to be like that to be president? I mean, what person?
No.
I mean, how do you wake up one day and say, I want to be president of the United States or any place? I mean, what kind of person?
I'll tell you what. This is what you do, Verna. You go back and listen to speeches that Ronald Reagan gave. And then after you listen to those speeches that Ronald Reagan gave, I want you to listen to speeches that Obama's given. There is an absolute night and day difference. When Reagan gave a speech, it was about America and the American people. When Obama gives a speech, it's about him.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll do that.
Silence. Wow. Very rarely he gets silent.
I'm not trying to, say that Obama's this great person. Don't get me wrong.
Yes, you were.
No, she wasn't. Don't you dare say that about Vern, because we'll get you. We'll get you, Rick.
I'm just kidding. I am just kidding.
You know what? People automatically think if you're black that, you're already, in it for, Obama.
You're black, Vern.
And that's not true. There's a lot of black people that don't care for his policies also.
What? So, you're black?
You're black, Vern?
Whatever. If you don't see color, I don't see color. So,
there you go.
Anyway, I just, it's just...
But then more of those people should come to the front, because we don't hear enough of them.
Well,
not to be racist or anything,
there's a lot of sheeple out there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so a lot of people don't want it. And, when you speak up, sometimes you get a lot of flack. I just say what I feel. I don't care who likes it. And,
And that's the way it should be. That's right. You
I
like me
used to
for
be a
what you
Democrat,
are.
and I did vote for Obama the first time around. The second time around, I didn't, because I just knew nothing was going to get done the second time around.
And he still won. Look, I can't believe that. You got people that voted for the first time, didn't vote for him the second time, and he still won. I can't figure that out.
You had a flawed candidate. I'm sorry, Mitt got beat up by the media, and then he was... he just wasn't a person. I'm sorry. He just...
Oh, I get so sick of hearing that. Why? I'm curious about what was it about Obama that made you vote for him?
The first time around?
Yes.
Well, I just liked, some of his... I gave into, those speeches got to me. Some of the speeches, and, I'm like, okay, he was very charismatic, and and he was kind of new on the scene. Nobody had never heard of him before. It seemed like he just came out of the blue. I know he was a senator and stuff, but, I started watching, I was watching Oprah one day, and he was on there, and I listened to him. I'm like, okay, well, this guy might have something. And so then I've never been a big Clinton fan, so I wasn't for Hillary, because I just don't like her. I never did.
Interesting.
And so between the two, I voted for him, and then a lot of people say, oh, because he was black, but it's not because he was black, because if they had somebody other than Hillary that was on a ticket that I liked, because I didn't like Biden either, I probably would have voted for the other person. But I thought that he got his message out better than anybody.
That he certainly did. You're 100% right about that.
Even though it was a fake message.
Yeah, well.
It was, and most politicians are fake.
Yep.
To me, they all, say what people want, here.
Do you want to know who I thought was the least fake out of all of them?
Who's that?
Your great governor, Rick Perry.
Yeah, that's true. But he just came across kind of dumb, though.
He wasn't ready.
He wasn't very good about explaining himself.
Right. That was
it. George Bush was the same way, but I did like George.
He wasn't ready for prime time. That's the problem.
To me,
they didn't groom him correctly.
To me, Rick Perry was more of a person because of that. He wasn't some some puppet or some, to me, those little gaffes. Now, unless you make, 100 of them a day like Biden, you got every normal person slips up here and there. And Rick Perry made a couple of gaffes, and the media tore him apart. And they did a good job of tearing him apart because there's people out there that believe he was unqualified because of a few simple gaffes. Well, if we're going to qualify somebody over gaffes, how the hell did Biden become vice president? Because this guy, everything that comes out of his mouth is complete idiocy.
That's right.
This is true.
That's
why he's a vice president. Because nobody cares about the vice president. You don't even hear about Biden. I haven't heard anything from that guy in about 6 months.
Well, because they tied him up, they gagged him, and threw him into one of the closets in the White House. That's why.
That's right, Jay. That's right. Obama finally said, screw this, man. This guy, we got a lot to do now.
He put his foot in his mouth with that case with the SEAL Team Number 6 and what happened with that whole story.
Yeah. He just Biden is always saying something that gets him in trouble. So,
or during gun control, just he's trying to advocate gun control, but yet says, "Well, just do what I tell my wife to do. If you hear a noise, just start shooting."
Yeah. But no, he mentioned a shotgun, didn't he? Or an automatic weapon or something like that.
No, a shotgun.
He mentioned it.
He's talking about a shotgun.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Verna, what did you think about Sarah Palin?
You know what? Sarah really could have been a force to be reckoned with had she did a little bit more homework to me, because sometimes I think she was just throwing stuff out there. I really, thought that, they kind of beat her up a little bit, because she's a woman. But I really think if Sarah had did a little bit more homework, because you remember when Obama was when they were running, McCain and Palin at one point they were ahead of Obama and Biden, but to me she just didn't do enough homework to kind of get her message across.
Well,
because when you're running for president, you got to resonate with a lot of people. And, and if you don't win over a lot of people, the majority of the people that's going to be voting out there, then, and then the media, she didn't have any help. The media just beat her down. Everything she said, or did say, they beat her up. And it was hard for her.
Now, I would argue that it's not that she didn't do her homework, and she has actually come out and talked about this. McCain and his team told her flat out there was a lot of things that she couldn't talk about, wasn't allowed to talk about. There was a lot of conservative values that she was not allowed to present. See, for me, I don't think it's that she didn't do her homework. I think she was restricted by McCain and his team, and she has actually come out and talked about this.
Okay, well, see, that's why a lot of people didn't understand then, because a lot of people thought she came across as being dumb too.
Well, that part, that was the media.
I'm not going to say a lot of people, but people that, that claim to be independent or whatever,
there's a lot of people.
You were right, Vern, but it's the media did the same thing to her that they did to Rick Perry. The same thing. They got on her and they didn't let up. They just didn't let up. They marginalized her is what they did.
See, the media makes me so mad.
Yeah, and she didn't have really. She wasn't ready for prime time either. They plucked her out of Alaska. And she wasn't ready for the big stage. They pick on these people that they're not ready. If they had given her 6 months or maybe a year to prepare a little bit better, she wouldn't have gotten caught in those gaffes that she made, and the press wouldn't have been able to pound her into the dirt. What happened.
That Katie Couric interview, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is the two people, the two people that got ripped apart by the media the most were the two people that came from states, the only two states in this country that actually have a surplus. Alaska actually has a surplus also.
Yeah, but Sarah quit, but she quit in the middle of her job. That was another thing that kind of turned me off. You know, why did she quit?
That.
Well, because that's a little. If you're going to run for office, you have to leave. You got to leave. If you're going to run for major office on a national stage like president or vice president,
is that why she quit?
Yes, that's the reason for why she quit.
Yeah, you have to.
Well, she didn't make that clear because I couldn't understand why she quit.
That was the press again.
But that's just common knowledge. I mean, that's something every American should know, anyways. I mean, that's just the way it's always been. You have to leave your present office to be able to run. Now,
well, Kerry kept his office, right?
No. He had to leave.
Now, senators can keep their position. Yeah, well, senators can. Senators do not
Joe Biden and I think Paul Ryan kept his.
Yes, Biden, yes. And really, I always heard the argument, too, during that first campaign. There was a big argument out there. Well, you know, Sarah Palin's not qualified, and that's why, that's what hurt them, is she wasn't qualified. Well, I got to tell you, she was more qualified than our current president. She has ran a business. She's been a mayor. She's been on boards. She's been in, Obama did nothing. She ran a state. Yep, she ran a state. Obama did nothing. He was a community organizer, and then he was a senator for 2 years. And then
not even 2 years. He was a senator for a year, and then he was running for president for the other year.
Well, there you go. And then during the whole time he was a senator, he never took a position on anything. He always voted president. He never voted yay or nay. He always voted president.
And he never voted
took a position.
The most far left person in the Senate ever. How about that?
Yeah.
That's amazing, too, and he ended up being president.
There you go. And because he had the media behind him, his whole machine, it was a well-oiled machine. They knew what they were doing from the beginning. They've been working on this for years.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And your point earlier about him being a puppet, right on target.
You know what makes me mad, too? The media, they just make me sick because they build people up and turn them down. And far as the black community is concerned, you know what makes me really sick with the media is every time something happens major in the community, they run to the two whores, Jesse and Al Sharpton.
Oh, jeez.
And I cannot stand the two of them. It just makes me sick. And every time, why do the media keep bringing it? They're not black leaders. Neither of them are.
The black community believe that they are because they fill their head with all these lies and
they talk all this
garbage.
Stuff all the time.
Yep.
I mean, I know there are always going to be some problems, and you know what? It's not nearly as bad as it was. I'm not saying there's not any problems. And you can't regulate people's mind. People going to think what they want to think. Let people think what they want to think. Just as long as everybody get along, that's all I care about.
And they're not going to get along as long as those two are around. And in fact, are you married, Vern? May I ask if you're married?
No, I'm divorced.
Would you like to be? Because you got 3 or 4 men right here that'd love to marry you just for the views that you have.
Get away.
I've always said that racism is nothing like it used to be. And we have these idiots like Sharpton and Jesse Jackson out there feeling this and the media feeling this. But at the end of the day, we have come so far from what racism used to be. And I just heard Verna say that. And you know what? I freaking love you.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way I do, but they won't say anything because they don't want to get into no kind of confrontation with other people, and to me it just doesn't bother me. I just say what I feel. If you don't like it, then call me whatever you want to call me. I'm gonna speak my mind. But I used to be a Democrat, and I used to say that same old crap. But I was sitting down. I used to be on the Huffington Post. You've heard of the Huffington Post?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I used to go on there and play my little stuff, and then that like I say, I speak what I really feel. I don't come from no partisan type thing. I don't care if who it is. I'm going to speak my mind on the subject. And they did start not liking what I was saying because it wasn't liberal enough.
Yeah. So if you don't agree with them.
They used to print everything I would say, and then they just stopped doing it.
Yep.
And so I say, you know what, I'm out of here. So, I have to think for myself. I can't go with what the masses think because I don't believe everything that, the liberals put out there. Because I think certain liberals want a certain amount of people to be, on the bottom anyway. They advocate all these food stamps and this welfare, and people won't work. And, there's less people working now than ever have in the United States.
It's a female version of Jay Sands right here, Jay. This is your host Thursday night, my brother.
What has happened to the American people? Nobody wants to work. Everybody's sitting at home drawing unemployment for the 15th time.
99 weeks, Vern. 99 weeks.
I mean, I know it's not a lot of jobs out there. I mean, I have.
But that's what
it did take me two years to, when I got laid off from my job when this whole thing started,
And that's true. But you know what? If this president didn't do what he did to this economy, there would be jobs. He deliberately sabotaged this economy so that he could give people 99 weeks of unemployment and give them this and give them that. This was all by design. And nobody mentions that when they bring this up, that people can't find jobs. Well, why can't you find jobs? If this economy is booming like Obama says all the time, how come people can't get jobs? Why is that? Nobody asks him that question. Nobody asks that of the secretary, his secretary, every time, the press secretary. Nobody asks him that question. If it's so great, how come people can't get jobs?
That's right, and nobody, none of the reporters asked him that question when they're having those little meetings that they have, and nobody in Congress is trying to even come up with any kind of job program. There's nothing out there. I mean, you're just on your own.
Well, how you can't have jobs when you got the people that provide jobs are choking. They're being choked by the government day by day, every other day, with hundreds upon hundreds of laws that they got to follow. And it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous what they're doing. And nobody wants to talk about it. It frustrates me to no end. It really, really does. And
it's pretty bad out there. But I think that what people need to get out and start their own businesses. Back in when was it, the 20s or 30s? When was the Great Depression?
Around 20, between the 20s and the 30s. Yeah,
you had people that got out and did what they had to do, and I think that's what people are going to have to start doing now. You just can't sit around and let the government take care of you. I mean,
but see, no. People can't do that right now because of government. There's too many government restrictions right now. That's the problem. Yeah,
to start a business today, the restriction. You couldn't start. You take a simple business like I don't know, an ice cream store, let's say. You know the hoops you have to go through to open up that store that you didn't have 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. They make it impossible.
Now, is this all from Obama's administration, or
most of it is from him?
Been around.
Some of them came from the Bush administration. Most of it is from the Obama administration and the restrictions that they've been putting on.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do right now with Obamacare. A lot of our economy and businesses dying the way they are. Most of that has to do with Obamacare because of the taxes involved. Not to mention, and like Jay said, this goes back a little bit further. I mean, America has the highest corporate tax rate in the world because our government seems to believe, well, we want to be able to spend more, and it's those evil rich people that we need to collect from, so let's keep raising their taxes. And what people don't seem to understand is when you tax those evil rich people, they provide less opportunities for the rest of us.
Yeah. I don't think rich people are evil. Some may be, but...
Yeah, but that's what they want everybody to believe, that they're hoarding all this money. They got the money. Look what's happening in New York. They got people picketing. They want $15.50 an hour as the minimum wage because they work in
at McDonald's.
Service jobs. So
it's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
You don't go to McDonald's as a career choice. And seriously, you don't. And these people who are picketing are absolute idiots because they want to be paid the wage as if this is a career choice. No, you go to McDonald's and move your way up, or work there.
Well, they're going to put their friends on a work, Rick, if they go with something like that. Okay, you want $15 an hour? Well, instead of paying two people $8 an hour a piece, now I can only take one in at $15. So half the people lose their friggin' jobs.
You're going to be paying $7 for a hamburger.
Yeah.
Or we're going to invent a machine that can do the job of two of you.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Well, people don't, a lot of these young people these days, they don't want to start at the bottom anyway. They want to be president right away.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to work your way up, people.
So
I don't understand, folks.
So true. That is so true.
Well, thanks to Obama, they think this can happen.
Look, stop bashing this guy, will you please, Rick? All right, leave him alone.
Some of them just have that mentality, they just, because I talk to a lot of young people, and I've been a manager before where I had, hire and fire people, and they really come in there with that kind of attitude. Well, you're working as a clerk. It pays $8. Take this $8, and then if you want to go into management or something else, you got to work your way up. But we're not going to start you off of that. You have no experience doing anything.
Yeah, but they want the money. They want the $15 to $20 an hour jobs. Well, go and learn how to do it. There's plenty of jobs out there.
People need to learn. People don't learn skills. Skills are not taught anymore. Nobody knows how to do anything anymore. Back when I was coming up, at least you learn how to do something.
Yeah, that
if you
brings
didn't go
me
to
back.
college, you learn how to do something. People don't know how to do anything, but work fast food.
That's right.
And, I hate to say it like that, but there's nothing wrong with it's an honest job. So I don't want to talk about the people that work
the
fast food.
education system's got to come into a lot of that.
Big Mac.
The education system is responsible for a lot of that nonsense.
I was just going to make that point.
A lot of times they just pass people along from grade to grade to grade to grade just to get them the hell out of the school because there might be a troublemaker or what have you. And these kids get passed up by they get out of high school. They have no good skills that they can use to get a job. So they end up, they're out on the street. They're doing nonsense and doing this and that. But I blame the education system for a lot of it.
And the parents, you got to blame the parents because you know what? I made sure my kids knew how to read. There's no way my kid was going to, you didn't even in elementary not know how to read. I just don't understand parents.
Once they walk out that door at school every day, the parents don't pick up the ball and do what they got to do at home to carry on what you got going on in the school. There's no partnership like there used to be in my day. My father, he got one call from my teacher. My father was down there that day, man. He'd leave work, come down there. All right, let's straighten this out right now. And he'd be behind the teacher every time. You know what I mean? Parents ain't like that nowadays, man. They're always looking for a scapegoat. They ain't looking in the mirror.
And what I go back to when you start talking about the schools is the dumbing down of our children. This started 20 years ago.
So much true.
Yeah, our schools are falling by the wayside. It's just.
Yeah, but the answer to that is throw more money at it. Throw more money at it. Throw more money at it. That's the answer. They don't want to fix this because that's where they're recruiting all of their followers from. You dummy them up enough, they're going to believe whatever you tell them.
They're sheeple. There's a lot of sheeple.
There you go.
Well, dummies make dependents, and the government wants you dependent on them. So, you see, it's all by design.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, you guys have, it's been a great conversation because, I don't get a chance to talk to everybody I talk to really thinks like I think, or they are thinking the other way, and then they don't like what I have to say because they think I should be thinking like them, and it's just, It's kind of.
Can I ask you guys one question? Vern, not to interrupt. What do you guys think about the voucher system where kids can everybody gets the same amount of money and you go to the school of your choice?
Best thing could ever happen to the school system in this country.
Amen, brother. All right.
I agree.
And that's coming from a public school teacher, man, which I was, and I'm all for it.
Because it levels the playing field, and it's not just a money thing. Because I knew a teacher, a friend of mine who was a teacher, and he actually implemented that in the school that he was in. They tried it, and it worked. Because now you got, if your child ain't getting what he's supposed to get, you take that child, you move him to another school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that puts a lot. Yeah.
So now what happens to that school? Well, that school's not getting any money. Hey, well, what are we doing here? What's going on? What's wrong? Where's the money? Well, the kids are leaving. Why? What do they do? What'd you do? No, fix it. Boom. Oh, now the kids are starting coming back. Well, let's go back over there now because the school got better. So it starts competition, and it's a good thing, I think. Has been proven to work.
Absolutely.
I know. Schools are expanding exponentially around here. The what do you call them? The charter schools.
Yeah. You know, and that's what happens. You get schools now will start. Yep. You got figure it out. You've got what? I forget what the numbers are, but if you put them together, you're talking $2-3 million a year. Teachers are getting what? $30,000, $35,000 a year if they're lucky. Mm-hmm. You got 10 teachers. What's that? $350,000 a year. You figure out your expenses for the building is maybe another $1 million. You're putting $1.5 million in your pocket a year just by running one of those schools.
Jay, here in my district, of 30 kids, they can have up to 30 kids now in the class. Can you imagine if you had 30 kindergarten kids and you're all by yourself in that classroom? Come on,
listen.
30.
Well, figure it out, Ernie. 30, let's take that 30 number. Okay, you got 30 kids times $5,000. So every 10 is what? $50,000?
Yep.
So that's $150,000 in one classroom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now you've got 6 or 7 classrooms. That's just one grade. You're well over $1 million. Go to 3 or 4 grades. You're talking $5-6 million a year. Yeah, for what? Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Plus the extra money they throw into these schools. So there you have it.
Yeah.
We've just fixed the educational system in this country right here on Night Talk.
But if the parents got more involved and seen what was going on, man, you know, I got to believe. But, you know, they sit home, and the only time they want to hear from you if there's a problem. Otherwise, you know, you got to. We used to have to offer little raffle prizes to get parents to come in for Parents' Night to talk to the teachers of their children. We offer raffle prizes every hour to get people induced to come in and do that. You do what you should be doing anyway.
Well, you got a lot of young mothers out there, single parents and stuff, and they don't give a rat's behind. I hate to say it, but you know, that's just the kind of generation of people we got coming up raising kids now. It's a bunch of single moms that are, you know, have no home training. Their mom was a single mom, and so the cycle just continues on. It's kind of a sad situation, but that's what we're looking at right now.
I worked in special education, Vernon. You know what we used to call that? These young mothers and all this nonsense going on. We used to call that job security.
Well, you know what? If they would cut out this welfare, the Section 8, and whatever else they get that's free out there, because the people that are getting that welfare and that Section 8 stuff, that free housing and all of that, they're all able-bodied people. I tell you, if you put 20 of them in a room, you see all of them are healthy people that can work.
But, you know,
they're sitting at home every day doing nothing, just living wherever. Some of them live in really nice homes. They don't all live in the projects.
Well, my family started off in public housing, Verna, back in the day, right? My grandfather was my father. But they worked their ass off to get out of there. It wasn't seen, in those days, it wasn't seen as a permanent place to live there the rest of your life, man. It was a temporary place because you were down and out, but you worked your ass off, got yourself out of that public housing, and moved on, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think it was meant to be like a lifelong thing, and it's like generation after generation, like you said, and it's...
They just give it out like it's nothing. And do you know those guys, the guys that bombed Boston, they were on welfare. Because, you know, they were over in this country for like 10 years or 5 or however long. They didn't have any jobs. And one guy was on, the one that was killed, he was getting public assistance. I mean, he didn't even live in the country, and he was getting public assistance.
Yeah, I know.
But even a citizen.
You're absolutely right, Vern.
See, this is the craziness that we got going on in this country. You know, it's sad. Is what it is.
I'm so in love right now.
Isn't she something?
It just, I don't know, it just makes you sick sometimes to see why people drink.
I'm going to use that from now on. Vern says I can drink because of all the stuff that's going on in this country. I like that.
I don't want you to become no alcoholic from, you know.
No, just we'll get to the borderline, then we'll stop.
Now, see, you're gonna have to call in on Monday. Make my job a little easier.
Ah, your
What are you going to be
co-host.
talking about on Monday?
I'm not sure yet. It's funny the way I work. Because, obviously, especially right now, there's no shortage of controversy every day. And
there's a lot of news out there, isn't it?
Exactly. And, even like when I do my own show, Taking Back America, cheap plug.
Hey, I warned you about that.
There's no shame.
Keep it up and I'll put you on the air with Ernie.
Yeah, I don't think have I ever called into your show, Ernie?
You called into one day to Jay and I when we were together, but I don't think you have on my music show. No, I don't think so.
We'll have to fix that shit.
Well, you're working every day. You're out there working every day when I'm on.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's full of shit. He doesn't work, Ernie. He doesn't have a job. Are you kidding me? This guy has a job. He's got a job. I'm next in line for the presidency.
Well, let's all start singing Hail to the Chief.
Well, this is a good...
If you talk about something like whatever's going on in Congress right now, like they got of course they call it the Do Nothing Congress, which is true, which they have like a 23% approval rating. I mean, we say that about them, but we keep re-electing these people. We call them the Do Nothing Congress, but I maybe we should talk about something they got going on in Congress right now, which I think they're getting ready to go on vacation again.
For 5 weeks.
Send Jay an email, nighttalk@sandsplace.net, right? Because with some topics you suggest, because I like your ideas, I'd be interested to see what you
Well, maybe you could use them on Tuesday. Speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, I will be on vacation next week, so I will not be here. In the chair on Monday night, we have Rick Langstrom from Taking Back America. Tuesday night, live, right here, we have Ernie Abbott from WEJA Radio. And on Wednesday, it pains me to say this, Dino will be in the chair Wednesday night for me. All live guest hosts for Night Talk next week. Thursday, we'll probably, I'll have to work with you there, Ernie, and put up one of the past shows for Thursday. So I don't think I'm going to be in the mood Thursday when I get back, or Friday morning as well. I will be back on the air on Friday.
If I could only get out of my Thursday night obligation, huh?
Are we going to go there again? Really?
We're not, because we're on the air, so we're not gonna. But
well, you just did.
Yeah, but we're not gonna go totally there. I'm not totally getting naked in this one.
Oh, okay.
I'm just taking off the socks and maybe one of my shirts. I'm not gonna go full bore with it.
I see.
Well, where are you from?
Michigan.
Okay, yeah, I can tell your accent. Okay.
Oh, really? Because most people say I have an accent like I'm from down south.
No.
You know what? There's just no shortage of love for you, Verna.
Hey, Mike said that he heard 7 gunshots an hour ago. He was outside live on the side of a mountain, and it wasn't from hunting.
Yeah, it's probably the Hatfield McCoys.
Either that, or I think a UFO landed and somebody was shooting at it, trying to get it to open. I don't know.
And I hear them Amish, once they start drinking, all hell breaks loose. So.
Now,
they don't drink, do they?
The Amish?
Oh, yeah. Haven't you ever watched these Amish shows that are on TV now, like Amish Mafia and
Breaking Amish?
Breaking Amish, yeah. Fuckers are drunk.
I watched one of the Amish Mafia. I just couldn't.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
They just put anything on TV now.
Yeah, like Honey Boo Boo. Oh.
Well, I kind of like Honey Boo Boo. I'm sorry, I actually do like Honey
She likes Honey Boo Boo.
All right, now I'm going to make a confession. I think it's kind of funny, too. I just wouldn't tell anybody that.
I mean, they just real. You know, I have no problem with that family at all.
Now, Honey Boo Boo is this kid that runs. She's a child, and she's trying to make it big in the pageant world. Is that how that goes?
Yeah, not anymore though. This whole. Not that I know because I watch it. Not because I know because I watch it. Or anything.
Yeah. No. You just You did your homework on it, right? Because you knew I was going to ask this question.
Yeah, that's right. Right. I don't watch it. But this whole new season so far has nothing to do with her being in pageants. It's just the family got so popular, you know, because it is. The family is just, like, they have, like, it's like they forget. There's 10 freaking cameras on them at any given time, and they're the most redneck, hillbilly family out there. They're real. They can barely
I like them.
Yeah, they can barely read, and their manners are out there. But it is fun to watch. Not that I watch it, but it is fun to watch.
You seem to know a lot about something that you don't watch. But you know, I do like Duck Dynasty too. Y'all watch that?
No, I love Duck Dynasty.
I love those guys.
Well, they made their money. I know that much. They're like millionaires just by selling ducks.
They're billionaires.
Yes, they are.
And what do they sell? Ducks? What do they do? It's something with ducks,
no,
right?
Duck calls.
Duck calls. Oh, okay, I knew it was something with ducks.
Their son, see what happened is the dad started a little tiny duck call business, you know, and it was just enough to get them by. It was just a small little business. And then one of his sons came along. He's very CEO minded. He came along and turned the company into a $1 billion company.
Wow. Yeah. How do you make $1 billion on duck calls?
They do it. They are worth
out there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I wondered the same thing, but yeah, it's a $1 billion company.
So you mean now in the slums we're going to start hearing duck calls? God, I'm sorry, Vern.
I'm sorry, too.
No, go right ahead. I stepped all over you. Go right ahead.
Didn't about two of them worked in corporate America at one time, and then they decided to, you know, start this whole business thing here?
I'm not 100% sure, but it would make sense, you know, because, like, you know, a lot of the stuff they do, I think, is for the show, because, you know...
Oh, yeah, of course.
They didn't always have, like, they all didn't always have the beards, like the sons.
Yeah.
They all used to be clean-shaven and everything, and so, you know, there may be some truth to that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I see a lot of people walking around with beards now. I'm like, okay, it's cool for the people that's on Duck Dynasty beard, but I don't need to wear a beard like that. I'm sorry.
So you do shave every day, then?
Funny. I don't have any hair there.
Well, it's now 12:15 a.m. on the East Coast, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a little break here. We'll be right back. Don't you go anywhere. We're sitting here with Vern, Ernie, and Rick. And we're talking just about anything. We're into TV shows now. It's like amazing. This is an amazing discussion. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're listening to Night Talk on the Sandsnet Radio Network.
It's the Beef Opera here, and just a reminder that right after me, it is Jay Sands and Night Talk, the king of the Night Talk shows. David Letterman, look out. There's a new sheriff in town.
This is Night Talk with Jay Sands on the Spreaker Radio Network. Join us at Spreaker.com. Hi, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jay Sands. Join me and Ernie Abbott for a new show, Sands and Abbott, a conversation, brought to you by the Sandsnet Radio Network, right here on Spreaker.com. It's a conversation, it's music, and more. So join us every Friday, 3 p.m., right here on Spreaker.com. You'll be glad you did.
It's your boy Dino, and you're listening to Night Talk with the Sandman, Jay Sands, on Sands Radio Network, and also simulcasting on Val FM.
was Gladys Knight, Every Beat of My Heart. Before that, Elton John, Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road. And Lulu started us off to Serve with Love. I'm sitting here with Ernie Abbott from The Ernie Abbott Show and WEJ Radio. Rick from Taking Back America. And Verna. Verna's just starting, so I don't have a show to plug for her. Or do you, Vern?
No, you can plug me, but
Vern. Listen to Vern. Go listen to Vern. Look for Vern on Spreaker.com. Go to Vern. See Vern. She's there. Go look her up.
It's Verna.
So lucky we're not on Weekend Edition.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I already explained that to her a little bit. And
she said, what'd you say?
You said you can plug me, and I said you are so glad we are not on Weekend Edition.
Oh, you're so cute.
She thinks you're cute. Wait till you listen to Weekend Edition. In fact, you can go back and listen to it if you want later on. Just go to Night Talk Weekend Edition. You'll see how cute he is.
Like me after that. No, don't listen to Weekend Edition, Vernon. You may not like me after that.
Well, during the break,
and you may change, huh?
Oof, change. He's being an angel tonight, believe it or not. An angel.
As long as you're not like Anthony Weiner and start sending me weird pictures, then...
Oh, no, he won't do that. He'll describe it for you. He won't send you pictures, but... yeah, we were talking during the break while the music was playing. Werner brought up Anthony Weiner. I mean...
He's a dick.
Well,
yes, he is, literally.
His name tells the whole story. I was going to say that. I don't know what's got into the people in New York City, but for a minute there, they scared the living daylights out of me because they had this guy ahead in the polls after what he did. And the only thing that derailed him was that he did it again.
Yes.
So what you're saying, Jay, is it was just nothing more than premature ejaculation?
Premature idiocy is more like it.
What's wrong with the people in New York?
I don't get it. Yeah, they're supposed to be the savvy state, and they become more liberal by the day, and it's sickening already.
Yeah.
They said he dropped down to 4th place in the polls.
Yeah, he blew it. Otherwise, he would have made it. They would have voted this man in if he did not do what he did again. He was leading in the polls.
Go away.
So funny we're talking about polls in the same sentence
as Wiener, yeah.
Oh, but his poor wife, she's just standing behind him and just
That's ridiculous.
Why are you doing this? I would not be nowhere near that man.
Yeah.
If he was, doing that.
I think
forgived him once.
Controlling the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good analogy.
You used to work for Hillary, so, remember Hillary stood by her man, so.
They dropped her like a hot rock. They dropped that woman. They won't even take her calls now.
Sad.
Yes, it is.
But I hope that he loses, because if they put him in there, then New Yorkers, they deserve what they get then.
What about this Bloomberg, though, for Christmas sakes?
I kind of like Bloomberg a little bit, but he kind of
What?
He was wanted. Well, at first I was liking him, and then when he came out with the soda ban, I'm like, come on, now, you're just really just losing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're do you know
now? The whole
now?
gun thing, and then that stop and frisk thing they got going. It's just crazy. Bloomberg's lost his mind too. He's another one.
And now they're trying to make it a law where you cannot donate food to the homeless because they can't control the content of like salt and other crap.
Oh,
Are you serious?
I am absolutely serious.
Wow.
What do homeless people care about salt? They just want to eat. They're hungry.
Yeah.
But
these people haven't
had weird food bans.
Where is this, by the way?
He's looking out for their health. He's looking out for their health.
My computer. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it.
Well, I understand, people being healthy, but I mean,
I was saying that tongue in cheek.
But it's not like that people are going to be eating. They don't. Those food kitchens, they don't cook a bunch of junk food.
No, they don't. But now is that what they're saying? They don't want them adding salt. They don't want them adding this. Get out of our lives. Get out of our lives and leave us alone. Jesus Christ Almighty!
I mean, I'm all for being healthy because I try to be healthy.
Yeah, but healthy is one thing. But that this is going too far. This is really going too far. Now they want to ban the food that you want to give to people who haven't eaten in 3 goddamn days, that they'll eat your arm if you let them. They're going to worry about the content of the salt in their food. Oh, Jesus Christmas. Really?
Are you ready?
Isn't that insane?
Go ahead, Rick.
Mayor Michael Bloomberg's food police have struck again. Outlawed are food donations to homeless shelters because the city can't assess their salt, fat, and fiber content, reports CBS 2's Marcia Kramer. Glenn Richter arrived at a West Side synagogue on Monday to collect surplus bagels, fresh, nutritious bagels, to donate to the poor. However, under a new edict from Bloomberg's food police, he can no longer donate the food to city homeless shelters. Richter has been collecting food from places like the Ohav Zedek Synagogue and bringing it to the homeless shelters for more than 20 years. But recently, his donation, including a cholent or carrot stew, was turned away because the Bloomberg administration wants to monitor the salt, fat, and fiber eaten by the homeless.
Oh, my God.
Are you effing kidding me?
Yeah, you see, well, they just slapped him in the face when the judges told him that he can't tell people they can't have a big gulp. So now he's got to do something else to keep himself in the news because he's so goddamn irrelevant. It doesn't make sense anymore. Stop the madness, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody out there that lives in New York doesn't stop, you got to stop this, really. It's getting ridiculous. Pretty soon, he's going to be coming to your living room and telling you what to watch, how to watch it, and watching you as you put your salt in your food. You're not going to be able to use salt in your food. You're not going to be able to use salt in restaurants. He's a little tyrant. He's got a complex, this man. And you got to get him out of there already. Just get him away from the city. He's killing the city. Man.
I'll give him a big gulp.
I'm sure. And he deserves it.
Oh my gosh, that's borderline ridiculous. Really. I mean, I don't understand that.
Wow. That is amazing.
Poor New York.
Well, this is what happens when you go liberal. This is what you get, And every step you take, they take one away from you. So everything they give you, you lose a liberty. You lose something in the mix. You're not getting anything for nothing, ladies and gentlemen. He was a perfect example of that.
Isn't that the First Lady's platform?
Oh yes, healthy eating.
Healthy. I don't have a problem with her platform.
Healthy eating is one thing, but don't.
I don't, because I believe that our kids are too fat. I mean, have you been to the elementary school looking at those kids?
But you know what? Practice what you preach. You can't tell us our kids are too fat while you're stuffing your face with a greasy hamburger.
Well, I think she's trying. Finally, because I think somebody did. I think Rush Limbaugh was the one telling her she needs to, practice what she preached.
Yeah, it's one thing to be, a good eater and eating healthy and be an advocate for healthy food and healthy eating, but don't push it down my throat.
But she has to have, now as First Lady, y'all, now she has to have some kind
Yes, and I agree, and that's fine, and I have no problem with that. But don't go pushing it down people's throat like you got to do this, you got to do that. Make your suggestions. This is what you should do. How about this? How about that? Could do this. Yeah, eat healthy. But yeah, that's fine.
I don't think she's trying to push it down the throat. I just think that was her agenda, and then she had to get out there and talk about it. But I think that, since people, and I'm not saying you or anybody else, I'm just saying since people don't like Obama, anything that comes out of that administration is just bad.
Well, when you have the president changing the way the food pyramid works because of what she wants to do, that's forcing it down your throat.
What do you mean?
They passed new regulations.
Yes.
For the schools. They passed new regulations for the schools now, what they can and cannot serve, right?
Yes.
So we used to have 85% participation in the hot lunch program in the school, and it went down to like 23%. The kids, the stuff they were offering the kids, they're just not interested in having that for lunch,
And as a matter of fact, I believe it's in New York, I could be wrong, but some school district, they banned butter. Can't even have butter with their bread or their roll or anything anymore.
Wow.
Okay, I was not aware that it went that far.
Yeah, this is
she
what's
was just
happening.
out there, pushing
And
her.
I don't even have a problem with her pushing that agenda, because you're right. That's what first ladies do. And the problem I have with it is, like I said earlier, why she's telling us our kids are too fat. She's stuffing her face with a rack of ribs or a burger or something else, and then telling us we need to eat freaking carrots.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I like I said, I just thought it was more like they had to give her something to do, so that's what she came up with. I mean, I think she kind of she did come up with the little garden thing that they have at the White House. And like I say, I'm just a person, I believe, and people should try to eat better, because we have so many people that have heart disease, diabetes, our kids are fat as hell, and people are too lazy to cook anymore. They go buy all these hamburgers and stuff for these kids. A lady the other day had a 13-pound baby. The baby's already overweight.
Well, yeah, and you have a point there, Verna. You're right, and that is true. But just don't force it down my throat. Is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
So if she was kind of like to play the airplane game, you'd be all right with it? She'd be like, oh, here comes the airplane. Open up. Bzz, 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 bzz. Need to make a landing.
Rick, you've gone overboard now. You've gone completely overboard now.
I haven't heard much about her here lately. I think they kind of toned her down too a little bit.
Michelle?
I haven't heard too much from her. At one point, we were hearing about Michelle Obama all the time, but now we're not hearing very much about her anymore.
True. Yeah, you're right about that.
Y'all noticed that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's because she's busy packing her bags to move back to Kenya.
Jesus.
She's not from Kenya. She's from the south side of Chicago, baby.
I'm talking about her damn husband. Both sides, both his white and black half.
Jesus. There he goes. See, he's starting to wake up.
Yeah, and
until somebody actually, the other night y'all had a really good show on that whole thing, but I wish somebody would actually really put it out there. It's so many people believe that, but nobody has really put it out there. I mean, everybody else, they what was that lady name that kept going to court about it? What's her name? Orly? What's that woman name?
I don't remember.
Gosh, I can't think of her name.
Are you talking about this whole birth certificate thing in Kenya being his homeland? Well, I'll tell you what. When I get home this weekend, I will get the clips, and I will play them Monday night. But she has slipped in a speech and called Kenya his homeland. He has slipped in a speech and called it his homeland. And I will get those clips for you, and I will play those clips on Monday.
Well, she's agreeing with you, I think. Aren't you, Verna?
Well, I guess the only problem I've had with this whole thing from the beginning, that it seems like to me it would have to be so many people involved in this conspiracy to make it happen. Because... Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Because
it's just, I just can't wrap my head around the whole thing. And when it first came out, I was looking on, the stuff they had out there on YouTube about it. But then I kind of blew it off and said, oh, it's just a bunch of conservatives, bitching about Obama. But then, I keep hearing, bits and pieces, and that piece you had the other night was kind of got me to thinking. But I still, in the back of my mind, I'm like, wow, how could they get the whole state of Hawaii to go along with
Well, it's not the whole state. They just have to get to the hospital. That's all. The hospital administration. That's all they got to get to pull those records.
Well,
do you think somebody would just say something about now?
Well, they have.
Who?
There is someone from the hospital administration that has come out and said that birth certificate is not a Hawaiian birth certificate. And I will get that for Monday night. Now I know what I'm going to talk about on Monday night.
There you go, Vern. You've just set the agenda for Monday night's show. So now you got to listen.
And you know what? I want to go back to what she said. She says, there'd have to be a lot of people in this conspiracy for this to happen. And you know what? There is. And that's what makes this so damn scary. Yeah. Because the amount of people and the amount of government that is involved in this conspiracy is insane. And you're
look at it
right.
this way. None of his records. I mean, I just made these points the other night. His school records, his college records weren't released. Why? Is that a requirement? Are they supposed to do that? Or is that a suggestion? I mean, who looks at all this stuff? That's what we need to do.
I don't think he has to show his college records, do he? Or
his birth certificate. Doesn't he have to prove that he's... I mean, he can become a senator, but you cannot become the president of the United States if you are not a citizen of this country.
Yeah, but why didn't Hillary, when he was running, this is another point that I have. When he was running, and Hillary was kind of beating up on him pretty bad, don't you think if she knew that information, she would have put it out there?
She may have said somebody. She didn't say anything about that, did she? No, you're right.
No, she didn't. I mean, it seemed like anybody that wanted to be president bad enough, they would have brought that. If I knew that information, and I know some folks
they would have slammed her if she did that. Hillary, they would have slammed her if she did that against Obama.
And you got to also remember, the Clintons and the Obamas made a deal. They got together and they made a deal about this whole presidency thing. And that's why Hillary became Secretary of State, and that's exactly why Hillary will be the next president.
Well, why didn't John McCain do something, the other side, then?
Because John McCain is a fucking ass bag.
I mean, you just think that somebody would have kicked, I just think that, politicians are dirty and they dig up the dirt. Let me tell you, you got anything out there and you become a politician, they're going to find it.
Well, I think they were threatened, if you ask me. I mean, because for this all to be true, that's what had to have happened. People had to have been shut up. How do you hide something like that?
That's why I have a problem. I understand you guys' points and everything, but I guess I just can't wrap my mind around how many people have to be involved for this to.
And then look at this: if it does come out, if it's proved to be true, this country's going to take a big hit. A big hit.
That is going to be some mess right there.
I want to go back just a little bit. Mike Stutsko wrote a little while ago. We were talking about food. I'm sorry, but I missed it. He says his wife works at a casino restaurant. At the end of the day, they throw the buffet food away in the dumpsters. They claim they cannot donate to a food bank. If someone gets sick, they could get sued by the homeless person. What fucking shit is that, he says.
Yeah, I agree with you. That is just...
It says, Vern, go to Hawaii. You will learn a lot about culture. He says he was there for 3 weeks. And he said earlier he does not acknowledge the U.S. flag, meaning Obama. I don't remember him ever doing that either. I don't know. Interesting.
I don't know. I guess I haven't paid that much attention to him because when he comes on TV, I pretty much turn the channel.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I just can't listen to another speech. I just can't.
Yeah, but he does them so well. I mean, he reads so well, is what I meant.
Well, like I say, in the beginning, when he first, I was really proud, and I never thought I'd see the day, I'm going to be honest with you, that there'd be a black president, biracial, whatever you want to call him. I just didn't think it was ever going to happen in this country. And I think that a lot of people voted with emotion.
Yes.
Because they were like, okay, wow. A black guy in there, and so that's a lot of the reason why he got in there.
Right, and if liberals didn't vote for him, right away it would have been, oh, you racist, you racist. You couldn't vote for the black president, you couldn't vote for a black president, so they were all guilted into it, I think.
Well, then the media had beaten down George Bush so bad that, that people just like, I'm just sick of Bush. So, a lot of people, just kind of jumped on the bandwagon. And, and plus, you got to realize it was really the white people that put him in there because black people only make up 12% of the population. And you can't tell me every single black person voted for him.
Yes, they did.
Obama? I think it was 98%.
Yes. 97% the first election, 95% the second election.
Of voting blacks.
Yes.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And those are true numbers. I can give you the source if you guys don't believe me.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it. I didn't think on the second time around it did. I know the first time probably.
Oh, yeah, they did in droves. Yeah. In fact, they pushed out the vote.
I think this time black people outvoted white people this time in the election. I think a lot of whites kind of stayed at home this time.
Oh, yeah, they did. In fact,
the Black Panthers were keeping the whites from voting.
I don't believe that one. I really don't. I don't think Black Panther has that much power.
There is video of the Black Panthers standing outside of a polling station with batons.
Yeah, but that was one station.
Have white people ever been scared of Black Panthers, Rick?
That was one station, Rick. That wasn't.
I just don't. I just really don't get it.
And those two guys really, they were not. They didn't get in trouble for that. They should have been arrested for that. They should have done time in prison for that.
Sorry, but I just don't. I don't believe that. I think a lot of people were really just kind of disappointed that they didn't have their guy in there on the Republican side, that they just kind of stayed at home. Because
and you're right about that.
On Blog Talk Radio, I used to go to the conservative stations all the time and listen to what people were saying, and people were pissed. And a lot of them said they just wasn't going to vote with Mitt.
Yeah, and that's what happened, because he only won by 51%. There wasn't a big margin. It wasn't like a landslide this second time around. Had the people who wouldn't support Romney because he wasn't conservative enough came out and voted, he would not have won. He would not have won. And I blame them. How you could do that to your country when you know what this man is trying to do and what he's done for the last 4 years? You're going to stay home because you don't think this guy is far right enough?
Well, you got to factor in all the voter fraud also.
But that's not even the point, Rick. That's not even the point. These people stood home because they said that Mitt Romney wasn't conservative enough. Who cares? The man was an American and would have taken this country in the opposite direction that Obama is taking it.
Oh, I agree.
That's another thing. That's another thing, Rick. I think that's going on right now is the infighting in the Republican Party. We got the Tea Party. Yeah. You know, and then we got the Republicans, and then you got the rhinos. I mean, it's just, you know, everybody need to get on one accord and get the right person in there, because you're never going to win another White House if we don't stop all this stupidity. You know, I understand where some groups are coming from, but in the end, it's all got to come together. To beat out the liberals, because otherwise you're going to keep getting liberal presidents.
And this is what ties us into what we first talked about earlier, with the forefathers warned us about a two-party system. And because we have a two-party system, we're not voting on people over their content of character, or their character. We're voting, well, it's like a football game. We're voting for the team that we like, whether they're good for the country or not, but that's the team we associate ourselves with, and that's who we're voting for. And that's exactly why the forefathers warned us against the party system.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what we're going to do then, because, you know, I really just don't think there's anybody out there right now, unless somebody emerge from out of the blue that we don't know anything about. I just don't see anybody out there that can win right now.
And that's how I feel, and that's one of the reasons why I believe that Hillary is going to lock this thing up once she gets into this race.
I don't think so.
You don't think
so? She lost against Barack Obama. She's not going to.
I don't think anybody could have beaten that.
She only lost, though, because Barack Obama was black. That's the only reason why she lost. Now, the next step, okay, see, this is how it happens. First, we break history with voting in the first black president.
Right.
Now we're going to break history the second time with voting in the first woman president.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a Republican woman, though. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
I don't know. Y'all were talking about Condoleezza, but somebody out of the blue, you just never know. With this kind of stuff, I hope somebody emerge, because there's more Republican conservative women out there that I think that could probably run this country much better.
I would actually vote for a Republican woman like Condoleezza Rice, somebody like that. I would have no problems voting for somebody like that.
I love Condoleezza Rice, but I already know she won't run. She's already said she wouldn't.
Yeah, she would really have to be pushed hard.
I don't know. There still might be somebody out there we don't know about yet.
Hopefully, yeah. Because
Barack Obama came out of the blue. Nobody knew about him.
Yeah.
I say you run, Verna. You got my vote, baby.
Man, there's no way. I could have them digging all in my past and stuff. I just couldn't. I couldn't take it, because I couldn't, you know, be a puppet. You know, I'd be out there saying what I want to say, and they'd be getting mad at me because, you know, I wouldn't say what they want to say.
Yes, somebody like that, exactly.
And you got all these big people that give you money. When they give you big donations, they got an agenda, and they want you to push that agenda for them.
Well, that's why term limitations and all this garbage about money donation. You know what? You should be allowed a certain amount of money, and that's it. None of this $260 million this guy raised, Obama.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that insane money?
$260 million plus. Yeah, you can only use that for campaigning. I mean, how much campaigning could you possibly do? How could you not win with money like that?
I know. It was just insane. The amount of money that these politicians spend on these elections, they could wipe out half of the deficit.
There you go.
The money it's just crazy. It's insane.
That's exactly what they should do, Verna. That's excellent. If the money that you collect, if you don't use it, it's got to go to the national debt.
Yeah, it should.
Wow, what a great idea. That's right. That's right. Let it go back into the people's pockets. Why does it got to go into yours? It's not supposed to go there to begin with. Yeah. And on that note, I'm going to play something by Del Shannon because we've got about 10 minutes left, and then we're going to come back, play another song, and then we're going to say goodnight to everybody. So stick around.
I'm going to go right now, guys.
Oh, you can't leave yet.
I have enjoyed myself.
No, you can't leave yet. No, can't leave yet. Sorry, you're locked in. All right, cut that wire over there. Get that that one that says can't leave. We'll be right back.
Together, while our hearts were young.
We're talking about right now. Sorry about it, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about we got to talking about I don't know what it was, but somebody brought up that Geraldo Rivera put out a picture of himself, and I just couldn't believe it. And I looked it up, and that's what we were talking about, him and Al Sharpton and how they look and how old they are. You, Geraldo Rivera.